The
You are
cook.
not. You are not the cuddly capybara boy any longer.
Nope.
You are the distinctly pointy
Pointy.
and uncomfortable to hug um, droid, and it's not good.
He's
It's
something of a polar opposite of Thunuk, almost, honestly.
He's very, very deeply unpleasant. Leading us next to our other bearded friend.
Hi, I am Purple Monkey Robots, I guess, and um, I'm playing an Ubi's uh, seeker named Cicatrix.
Yes. And this is the very first time that I have run this system live, and I gotta say that I have absolutely no plan, and I am probably going to mess this up aggressively. But first thing about this system that is different than any other system that I've ever played is like all of these like crazy ass rune dice with which we divine the happenings of this game system. It is entirely unlike anything that I've ever played, and I have found that the dice really they really hate it when you plan things. They really detest when plans happen because they like to alter plans aggressively. Insofar as when I roll these dice or when they roll this dice, the story changes around the dice and the player's actions and responses to it. So I might have a plan and then they roll something absolutely insane and it changes utterly the reality of the situation that they are in. It leads to an extraordinarily cinematic system, very indicative of the kind of pulpy, high fantasy um, Star Wars feel. So the dice system itself lends itself incredibly well to the Star Wars universe. Um, without further ado, I say that we should begin. What do you two think? Should we begin or should we cancel this mission before it gets off the ground?
Actually, I got something to do.
Oh,
Uh,
I told you to clear your schedule. Oh, you bastard. No.
so, what does the purple die with the triangle and the circle mean?
Okay, so the just to break down these die, starting with the D6s. I know that's not what you asked, but that's what we're going to do first.
Mm.
The D6s, these are called boost die for the blue, which is a positive dice, and a black die called a setback die, which is a negative die. The on my die, I have a slightly more generic set than you do. This is for their Genesis set, but it's functionally identical. The circle with the 3 jagged lines through it, that is what is called a threat on your Star Wars dice. It may look a bit like the Imperial cog, just a little bit. And the X is a failure. On the Star Wars die, it is an inverted triangle, sort of with beveled edges.
Yeah.
The blue die, you'll see a chevron on mine, an up-pointed chevron, which is indicative of an advantage. I know it's probably not close enough to the camera, but I distrust how good my camera can focus. And what looks like a starburst, like a sun, which is a success. The black, or rather the purple and the green die. The green die are ability dice, which are representative of your characteristics. So, for instance, I know that Cookie has a 3 in brawn. So he has 3 green die for whenever he rolls brawn. The purple dice represent the difficulty of any given task. It is a fluctuating difficulty scale. Similarly to the black die, the circle with the 3 jagged lines through it on mine is representative of a threat, and the X is representative of a failure. On yours, it'll be the inverted triangle and the weird circular cog-looking thing. Essentially, what it means is if you say if you have 2 threats show up on the die, 2 threats are added to your end result. If you have a threat and a failure and a threat are added to your end result. It's basically anything that shows up on the die contributes to the final result of the pool. And then you go through and you start canceling. So for instance, if you were to roll 3 green die and 2 purple die with no blue or black or anything involved, you would roll those die. Let me dump out all of the die here and then roll. So I have rolled, as you can see, probably not at all. Let me angle my camera down. All right. So, is that focused?
Yeah, more or less.
More or
Yeah.
less. Let me get closer.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
You can see it.
So you will see 4 successes, 1 advantage, 2 failures, and 1 threat. So the failures and the successes cancel, and they get pushed to the side. The advantage and the threat cancel. So what we're left with is 2 successes, which generally means you've succeeded. Now, if this had been an advantage, you would have no successes and 1 advantage, which is still a marginal success. And we'll get into the nitty-gritty of that later on.
Okay.
So essentially what you're doing is you're generating a pool of dice based on your yellow proficiency dice, which are representative of trained in your skill, your green dice, which are representative of natural, physical or mental ability, and in these favorable circumstances, which are blue dice, or having a scope on your rifle gives you a blue die or something like that. And then what I do is I throw difficulty and bad dice at you to complete your pool.
So, I'm looking at the green die, and
Mhm.
I see there's a side that's a success,
Mhm.
1 success. There's a side that's 1 failure. Is that right?
There are no failures on green dice.
Oh, what's that one mean?
That is advantage.
Oh.
That's what my up facing chevron is. The sort of wing
That's what's
with the dot
okay.
is advantage. Sorry.
No problem. I think I sort of got it, but I'm sure I'll ask.
Yeah, we'll
5 more times.
That's fine. This is a completely new system. It does take some getting used to. It is entirely unlike anything that is normal in the D20 system. So one last thing that I want to go over is that the yellow and the red die. The yellow die are representative, as I said, of your training and skills. So if you have a rank in survival, you get to roll a yellow die along with your green die. So you'll note on your sheets that when you have a rank in something, it's not in addition to your ability, it replaces a green die. So for instance, Cookie has 2 ranks in melee and a 3 brawn. He will roll 2 yellow die and 1 green die, not 2 yellow die and 3 green die. He does not add, he replaces green die with yellow die. Does that make sense?
Replaces it. Okay.
Yes. So if you didn't have any skill, you'd just be rolling 3 green.
Mm-hmm.
But because you have 2 ranks and skills there, you're rolling 2 yellow and 1 green. You've upgraded your green die into yellow die.
Okay.
Red die, or rather yellow die, are the only ones with a triumph symbol on them, which for Ross is going to be a lightsaber. Kind of in a square a little bit. It's kind of a lightsaber symbol. Yes, that. It's a circle, isn't it? Mine is a star with a circle around it. Red die, which are super not cool, are called challenge die. They make everything a whole lot harder. They have a despair on them, which is the opposite of a triumph. And super unpleasant things. Yes, that. Super unpleasant things happen when you roll despair die. Fortunately, challenge dice aren't super common. They're really only a matter of I would need to alter the story in a significant way in order to make the challenge die appear, right? Ross, do you have force die? Do you have white die?
I have a white one, yeah.
Okay, so the force die has Every face has a symbol on it, either a black circle, 2 black circles, a white circle, or 2 white circles. Those are representative of force points. Now, Yvonne's character is a droid and will never need to roll that die, but Ross's character is force sensitive, which, sorry for the reveal, but it's useful for discussing the rules. No one knows you're force sensitive. You don't know you're force sensitive. Ha! They are how force powers are powered in this system. Whenever you try to activate a force power, you roll a force die up equal to your force rating, which in your case is 1. And you have to generate results in order to power your force die or your force power. So it's a little complicated, but we'll probably get into that later. But firstly, I need each of you to roll one of the force die. Yvonne, you'll have to use your roller.
Mhm.
Ross, give me a 1 force die roll and report the result, please.
I got 1 black dot.
Okay, 1 black dot.
I have a white dot.
You have a white dot. Now, I am also going to roll because there are only 2 of you. And just to increase the number of points available, I'm going to roll as many force dice as there are players. That's a little house rule that I use, just to increase the amount of available destiny points, which is what we are determining right now, is destiny points. So,
For the folks at home, there would be 3 of us. You see the window for clues there, but you could not make it.
yes, unfortunately, she could not make it. If I had thought of it, I would have had Yvonne craft for me a destiny point counter, but I did not think of it, and so
Whoops.
yes, that is on me. However, I did roll 2 light die, or 2 light and 1 black. So, Ross, you rolled a black. I rolled a black. Yvonne, you rolled a light,
Mhm.
and I rolled 2 lights. So that means you have 3 light points to spend to significantly alter the story in your favor, and I have 2 dark points to spend to significantly alter the story in my favor. Every time one of us spends a point, it flips. It doesn't go away. If you spend a light point, it becomes a dark point. If I spend a dark point, it becomes a light point. And we go back and forth.
Is that
Now-
just during this session?
Every session we will roll
Okay.
Destiny die. Yes. So I think we have enough to very poorly play this game. I think we've got enough information in our brain areas now to do a bad job.
I'm willing to give it a go.
I think that we should
And
give it
fail.
a shot. I think that we should fail nobly. It's just nobler to fail. Okay, so it is a weekday morning at your place of work, which is Speedy Slorgle's The Hutt's Sustenance Shack. It's a chain restaurant in the orbital stations around the Hutt-controlled planet Narkrita, which is a green, swampy world, very slowly becoming horrifically polluted and inimical to all forms of life but Hutts. Hutts have this thing where they roll up to planets, conquer them, and turn them into shitholes. It's kind of how they do business. They're not very good environmentalists. They're kind of bad at it.
They sound like intergalactic parasites.
You are not incorrect. Speedy Slorgle is a proprietor and sole owner of the Speedy Slorgle's, the Hutt's Sustenance Shack franchise. He has over 4,000 locations across Hutt space, which is vast and covers many light years. This is the premier freighter diner for traveling cargo freighters, long haul, 40 jumps on the hyperlanes kind of stopover way station point for fueling, things like that. You are essentially a gas station diner. You are open 24 hours a day, 24 standard hours a day, 7 standard days a week. You do not close. And just to sort of set the mood, this is like working in horrifically managed, horrifically maintained, absolute cut as many corners as you possibly can to save on costs fast food restaurant. This is a despair engine of a restaurant. It is not a good place to work. But given the way that the Hutts run their economies, it's basically one of the few places where you can find work right now. In Cookie's case, you are owned by this franchise's manager. You're not owned by the manager. You're owned by Speedy Slorgle.
Mm-hmm.
You belong to him. You're property of the company. Cicatrix, you are a minimum wage employee, and by minimum wage I mean like literally, if you miss a paycheck, you starve to death, kind of situation. You don't make money. You don't make profit off of this. You survive. This is a subsistence sort of job. You basically work 12 hours a day every day. It wears on your mind and body quite heavily. Your coworkers are in no better shape than you are. Your Wookiee coworker is not currently here. It's truck day, so they are at the space elevator leading down to Narkrita, collecting the week's inventory that they are going to bring back, and that's generally a 7 or 8 hour process because of traffic and also having to deal with thieves. So that's what they're doing. One of your coworkers is late, actually. And the morning shift only has 2 people and Cookie, who never stops working. So the issue, such as is right now, is that breakfast rush is basically almost over. So you've been working for 3 hours already, and your coworker still isn't here. Your coworker's name is... where did I put this note? Sorry. I thought I had it in my head, and then I did not. He is a human, male. He is not much older than you are. Actually, he's younger than you are, now that I'm looking at it. Why can't I find this man's name? There it is. Krim. C-R-I-M. Krim. Krim is 3 hours late. Krim does this on a frustratingly regular basis, and he should have been fired a long time ago, but he helps your manager maintain their drug habit, so he cannot be fired, essentially. He is this franchise's side hustle is a drug dealer, essentially, and also user. He has explained to you on several occasions that it's not necessarily a drug habit, it's more of a medical necessity that he can only meet with narcotics that he can't afford. So he hustles on the side to afford his medication, in his words. Krim stumbles in through the back of the restaurant looking like hammered ass. And he's always been kind of hollowed out looking, very wan, hollow cheeked kind of guy, dark circles under his eyes. He's constantly wearing what looks to be like thick welder goggles. And he just is like rail thin, malnourished, and very just generally unhealthy looking. And that has always been the case with him. He stumbles in through the back door of this restaurant and almost kicks over the reclaiming bucket for the grease, which is like a capital offense at this restaurant. You don't waste Speedy Slorgle's grease. You just don't do it. That's a valuable commodity, more valuable than you are, Cookie. And he almost kicked it over.
Oh.
And he's like, geez. Oh, I'm sorry. He doesn't look sorry at all.
Two of the
And
arms currently.
in fact, he's just like he continues to like stumble, patter his way through the kitchen, slipping and like almost tripping on your wheeled track that you can't leave.
Two of the arms that normally are busy either grabbing food or chopping food point at him and say, "Get the hell out of my kitchen, stupid meat bag."
He's like, "Hey, that's I don't know." And he just kind of like continues to like head down zombie way his movement through your kitchen. Like he grabs something out of a like a produce, like those little plastic produce holders that you use to assemble a sandwich, and he just grabs out of it with his hand and like puts it to his mouth and just kind of like zombies his way, slipping and like almost falling through this kitchen. And he's kind of in uniform, but he's disheveled as hell. He's got a huge ass like heavy coat on that looks way too big for him. It's got a whole lot of pockets, which you know to be filled with drugs. And he's just kind of like hating himself and life and everything. And he steps into the main line of this diner, which, as you are all aware, has like the coffee and like the window where like orders go up, and like, you know, in some cases, not this place, but the booze, you know, that whole server area where like you move back and forth and don't get to leave for 12 hours. He's like, "Oh, hey, Cicatrix, how are you doing? How are you doing today? I'm not doing good today. Are you doing good today?" And he's just like, he's trying to eat it, and like it's not working too well.
So, Cicatrix, Cicatrix is an Ubies, and just to give you an idea, she wears this thing on her over her head, and Ubies is like the character that Princess Leia was imitating, was trying to pretend to be at the beginning of Jedi. She has it's like so, but her Cicatrix's helmet is like bargain basement. It's like super. It's like the super cheap version of that. It's like an old.
It doesn't
old
look
model.
cool at all.
Yeah, it doesn't look cool at all. And like the goggles are working right. Like she can see okay, but then like the voice like amplifier, because like usually a newbies can't talk very loud, and so they have like a voice modulator amplifier, and it's broken.
Oh no!
Right now, and she just she's constantly trying to fix. Anyways, that's just the backstory of. So she goes, "Grim on time as usual."
Yeah, well, I had a really bad night. I didn't win yesterday. Or what's today? What? I don't know what time anything is right now.
It's truck day.
Right. Right. So I am, and he like looks at the clock, like the digital readout, and is like just kind of like clearly is not parsing any of it. It's just, I am late
For you, on time.
Right. On time.
On time. And
Yeah.
she just goes back to what she was doing.
Get back to what she's doing.
Yeah, she just doesn't care.
He said something interesting though. I mean, you've worked with Krim for about 1.5 years now, so this is kind of a regular occurrence. But sometimes he comes in, and he's in a lot better shape. And usually, what happens is he says, "I won."
Ah, so that does register. That registers.
That I didn't win last night.
Yeah.
Or whenever he was doing whatever.
Okay. So I did hear that part.
You did hear that. He's like, I didn't win last night. I didn't win. And so he like tries to hang his coat up, and tries to hang his coat up, and then finally just drops it, and like just stares blankly out into the restaurant, like not really moving, not really sure exactly what he's supposed to be doing, or like maybe sure, but his brain just isn't turning over like a car engine should. And so he just kind of like hangs out there, and his eyes are sort of half closed. And then a customer comes in, and it makes the horrifically annoying, like in Huttese, and like with a really unpleasant gravelly bass voice, and your guys' speaker is kind of broken, so it doesn't like even sound. It's like welcome to, and then like the speedy Slorgle of Hutt's sustenance shack, and it takes like 25 seconds for it to get through that because like the speaker system is like kind of slow. And it happens every single time somebody comes in. So if like somebody comes in the middle of it, it starts it over, continues it on. So an Aqualish walks in. Aqualish are a aquatic mammalian species. There's 3 subspecies. This subspecies is the kind with 4 eyes and 2 enormous arms ending in 5-digit fingers or 5-digit hands. They have a really bad rep for being extremely hyper aggressive and violent, which, you know, a lot of that's prejudice, but, you know, there's some truth to it. Some of them come in, and a lot of your customers come in really altered states. It's not uncommon. The equivalent of trucker meth does exist. So this enormous, like he's close to 7 feet tall, stomps in and like almost collapses on the counter, like just boom, boom, and sits on one of the stools, almost directly in front of Krim. And Krim just kind of goes, welcome. And he looks to Cicatrix and just kind of, what do I do? Menu? Is this menu? Menu. And he grabs a menu, and like it's like a data pad that like projects like a holographic upward of like the various specials of the day. He sets it in front of the guy and it's like, I did it.
Cicatrice is like watching him and just like nodding.
You're getting the idea that this is going to be a solo shift for you.
Yeah.
It's becoming quite apparent. Give me a medicine check, though. I would like a 2 difficulty medicine check. And because you've worked with Krim for a long time, please add a blue die to it.
Okay, so this is the difficulty is purple.
Difficulty is purple.
Okay, so I want 2 purple, 1 blue, 2 green, and a yellow.
Yes, that is correct.
While this is all happening, in the back, Cookie is basically just cursing in Droid.
Binary hate.
Yeah,
it's like an angry fax machine.
It's like an angry fax machine is murdering a modem.
It's just like hate stabbing a modem.
Okay, so the horseshoe is advantage.
The horseshoe, the winged horseshoe with the dot or diamond in the center is advantage, and it is canceled by threats, which the crazy circular cog looking thing.
All right, so I got 2 advantage, 2 success. No, 3 advantage, 3 success.
Nice.
1 circular cog.
Okay.
And 2 triangles.
Okay, so
and the blue die is also a success advantage.
Okay, so what that means is you'll cancel. You'll take your successes and subtract your failures.
Okay, so that's 2 failures.
Okay.
And so that gets rid of that. So that's 1, 2 successes and 4 advantage.
You take your threats and you take your advantages and subtract your threats. Now, it's basically every time you.
So it's 1, 2, 3. It's 4 advantage. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine. This is a completely new system.
Yeah, 4 successes and 3 advantage, right?
Yes. So if you take all your positive results and all of your negative results, You subtract your successes, or you
Mhm.
subtract the failures from your successes to get a new number. So if you
Right.
got 2 failures and 4 successes, you end up with 2 successes.
Yeah.
If you got 3 advantages and 2 threats, you end up with 1 advantage.
Okay. I think I see it now. Right.
Mhm.
So it's it's 2 successes and 3 advantage.
Okay, 2 successes and 3 advantage.
Mm-hmm.
Firstly, Krim does not appear to have slept in a number of days. He's clearly exhausted. He
Okay.
clearly hasn't eaten in a couple of days. He appears also to be going through some really aggressive withdrawal symptoms.
Okay.
And he keep in mind, he has never once brought up or told anyone what exactly is quote unquote wrong with him. He says that he needs, drugs to handle a problem.
I mean, do I think he just needs to sleep?
Yeah, he needs he looks like he should be in the hospital, which none of you can afford.
Right.
There's no such thing as healthcare in Hutt space, essentially, unless you can pay for it.
So she goes, Cicatrice goes over to Krim and says, "You look like hell."
Yeah. I didn't win. I haven't. I keep losing.
Why don't you go to sleep?
If I don't win, I can't sleep. That's the equation. Gotta win to sleep. Gotta win to eat. Can't do either one of those. If I lose, and I keep losing, and this conversation is happening in front of a customer.
Right. Yeah. She was gonna call him over, but she's just like, whatever.
Before you continue, I just
Okay.
because I want to be clear, your character doesn't know that they're force sensitive yet.
Oh, all right. Because the way I did,
Or rather, you are force sensitive, and you know that you are. You have no control yet over
Okay.
what it is that you can do.
All right.
And also, bounties for force sensitive exist, and you are aware of that, having come from a bounty hunter culture.
Right.
Which is why you are here now, working fast food instead of bounty hunting.
Yeah. So she, she says, "Is there anything I can do to help?"
Oh, that's really cool, you Cicatrix. You're always really cool. Thank you for being cool. Have you got a grand?
A grand of what?
Money, credits, big hats, money. We have 1,000 of any of that.
If I had a grand, would I be here?
Now you see my problem. And the Aqualesh is kind of like, what the fuck is this? And he rumbles out in Huttese, which is a language that all of you speak. Working in Hutt space, you would be deeply familiar with it. Am I expected to do my own food here? I would like to eat. I'm really hungry. And as he says hungry, his Aqualesh are have instead of a mouth, they have these weird pedipalp tentacle things.
Mm-hmm.
If you recall the very first Star Wars film, Luke Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi are in the Mos Eisley's cantina to meet Han Solo. That dude with the really messed up face says, "My friend doesn't like you," and his friend is an Aqualesh.
Okay.
This weird spider-looking guy with the huge eyes. This guy has 4 eyes and enormous tusk things.
Right.
They're a species of essentially aquatic spider mammals It's really weird. They're messed up.
Aquatic spider
They have spider characteristics despite being mammals. It's very
mammals.
strange.
Okay.
I don't understand how the biology works. That's just what they are.
Uh,
I'd like the special number 3, please.
so they don't just like press something on the pad; they have to actually say
They
what
have to
they
actually.
want.
This is
Okay.
cost cutting 101. Automation. What is that? That costs money.
All right, so she now, how does she enter? Like, does she have a thing? She enters the.
Yeah, she would have a thing that she would enter in, and yours, as you would enter it, would show up in Cookie's, field of view, essentially. Like the board that you are constantly facing would have like an order show up on it.
So what does he order?
He orders the special number 3, which is essentially, to describe this is the least excellent thing to prepare because it involves going into the cooler, opening a environmentally sealed container, and harvesting a violent carnivorous semi-metallic centipede's eggs and larvae from a piece of meat that it has impregnated. And then that is essentially what you cook. It's called the razor peed omelet.
Okay. So she tries to keep a blank. Well, no, she can't really see her expression.
Her face covering with like kind
but
of.
she's still like behind it. She's still kind of like, you know.
Fortunately, that's Cookie's problem.
Right, exactly. So she pushes the buttons and she's like, "Thank you for dining at Speedy Sorkel's Hut Sustenance Shack. We hope you enjoy your experience. Your food will be right out."
And like, almost as if in like religious catechism, excuse me, not cataclysm. You see Krim like kind of like zombie, and he's just like mouthing the words that you just did.
And she kind of nudges him a little bit, but like not enough to like push him over or anything, but just like
his head goes like okay, yeah, welcome to Speedy Sorkel's.
I got this.
Okay,
I got this.
I'm gonna go into the walk-in and count things.
Good idea.
He zombies his way out of the front of the house, back into Cookie's kitchen, and goes into the cooler where you have to do business, Cookie. And like, this is an involved process. And as the number 3 special is ordered, the razor peed omelet, it says, reminder, slaying company-owned fauna is against company policy. And so it's like, reminder, slaying company-owned fauna is against company policy. You're not allowed to kill the razor peeds. In fact, you have to keep them alive. You have to constantly feed them.
What do they eat? Please tell me that it's not droid.
They eat meat.
Okay.
In fact, one of the reasons that you're able to do this job is because they can't like hurt you effectively. They can't burrow into you is the thing. They can probably mess up some circuitry, and they are primarily composed of biometals and insectoid chitin. If you know anything about insect and arachnid biology, you'll know that some species accumulate zinc or other light metals in their fangs. And it basically turns them into hypodermic needles for injection purposes. Some have self-sharpening, capabilities. Yeah, it's bad. They're not cool, and they will attack you. They're going to attack you, as they always do.
Great. Wonderful. Frustrated electronic noises. Commence rolling through the various track systems on the floor. to navigate through the kitchen and into the cooler.
One thing that I want to, your lower half, like
Mhm.
from your waist right down, you have legs, but they've been like folded up and like zip tied out of the way of this like rod that's been welded to your ass essentially that occupies the wheel in the track. So like your legs are just kind of crunched up underneath you and you're balancing on this like kind of wobbly ass like metal stick essentially.
The entire time, I'm navigating my way through the kitchen. I'm giving. You just said his freaking name. Krim.
Crim,
Krim.
Crim,
Krim.
yeah.
I'm giving Krim that just all the stink, uh,
Right, and he's like,
ocular devices.
I'm sorry, and he goes into the cooler where the razor peats are because you only have one walk-in,
Well,
and everything is in there.
everything is in there.
He's like, okay, all right, fuck, and he goes in there.
No. Rolls in. Says as he's rolling. You realize the razor peas will want to eat you, and I don't care enough about you to not let them.
Krim is passed out on the razor peat box, and he's just like, it's warm.
In the cooler?
Well, yeah. The walk-in cooler, whatever.
Yeah.
The thing is, it's an environmentally sealed container,
Yes.
and so it produces heat.
Oh, it produces heat. Okay,
It
yeah.
produces heat.
Is there anything like a hook I can hang him from temporarily?
I'm going to say that there is, in fact, a hook that you can hang Krim from. It's just a question of what are you hanging him by?
Pants.
Pants.
Yes.
All right. Give me a athletics check with 3 difficulty die.
All right. So athletics is 2.
2 yellow, 1 green.
2 yellow, 1 green.
And then 3 purple die.
All right. So why is it 2 yellow and 1 green? Is it the green comes from the brawn?
Green.
It's 3 because of the brawn, and 2 of those become
yellow because of your skill.
Because of my skill. Okay.
The width. Okay, this is kind of a strange term. The width of the dice pool is determined by your characteristic.
Okay.
Your skill determines how many of those dice are yellow.
Gotcha.
Instead of green.
Okay. And what's the difficulty you want me to go against?
3, please.
3. So it would be 3 purples? Okay. All right. Wow, that was a horrible roll.
It should automatically kick out a result for you.
It did automatically kick out. I got 3 successes. And 4 of those cogs?
4 of the cogs would be 4 threats.
Yes, 4 threats.
Okay. So so you got 3 you didn't fail.
I didn't
you
fail.
Succeeded.
But like this is succeeded.
You
in a
succeeded
bad way?
poorly. You succeeded poorly.
Okay.
Which is a thing that can happen here.
Yes.
So give me just half a tick here, and I am going to pull up precisely how poorly you fail.
Okay.
It's going to take me just a hot second.
Or poorly
because
I succeed.
When, excuse me, when you, hang on, I oopsed. Downloads. Advanced threats. So when you generate your result, if you get a success, you succeed. You do what you set out to do. If you roll advantages, beneficial things occur along with your success. If you roll threats, not beneficial things occur along with your success.
Okay.
If you were to roll the opposite of this, if you rolled a failure and 5 advantages, you would fail to do what you set out to do, but you could spend the advantages favorably for yourself to make the next time easier for yourself, to make your ally do better, or to sort of fix some stuff. Oh, nice. That's a nice handy graphic. Thank you for linking that. So you got how many threats?
4.
Okay, so you take 1 strain from having to manage an unconscious human body up and onto a hook. Strain is essentially mental fatigue, mechanical fatigue, muscular fatigue, things like that. It's not a wound, but you take strain.
Mm-hmm.
If you take more strain than you have, you pass out.
Ah, okay.
So you take 1 strain. The other 3, um, the other 3 threats are spent on Krem accidentally pulling open the Razorpede environmental box.
Oh boy.
As you hang him from the hook, so he's hung up.
Yes, but
He's up there, and like in his like limp grasp is the lid to the Razorpede environment, and they come out like freaking out and like flailing around, like immediately trying to crawl away, like yeah, and like they always are seeking out food. They're always seeking out more to eat and more biological stuff to lay their horrible eggs in. Fortunately, Krim is not on the ground at the moment, and Razorpedes can't fly. But now you have 2 Razorpedes like scrabbling out of the box, and
they've scrabbled, or they're in the midst of it.
They are in the midst of like trying to, with their horrible chitinous little feetsies, trying to get out of the of which there are hundreds,
Mhm.
trying to get out of the environmental box. And now is a great time to roll our very first initiative. So for initiative, what you are going to roll for me is you are going to roll a for you, this is going to be vigilance.
And vigilance is based off of
Willpower, of which
Okay.
you have very little.
I have 1.
Right, but you have a skill in it.
Yes, so I have.
So you roll a yellow die.
Uh-huh. And that is versus a 1 in the purples.
No.
No, not at all.
Initiative checks take no purples. It's
Okay.
an opposed test. Opposed tests do not have difficulty. You are versing someone else.
Okay.
Am I also rolling?
Not yet.
Okay.
You're about to hear about this, I imagine. So.
Oh, I thought, okay. I rolled a success and the, not the threat, but the
Advantage?
advantage, yes.
So success and advantage. So they only got an advantage. So you are going first. And the very first thing that happens on your turn is an alarm. And he goes, warning, warning, fauna loose in the walk-in.
Close the door to the walk-in.
Okay, that would be a incidental, I think, like a free action, sort of.
Uh-huh.
Let me confirm that. I'm fairly certain it's a free action.
Okay.
Why can't I find it? Sorry. Here. Player actions. Sorry. Reference the cheat sheet. Okay, so that's a maneuver. So every turn, you get a maneuver and an action.
Mm-hmm.
If you just want, you can, instead of taking an action, you can do 2 maneuvers. If you want to spend strain, like lose strain, you can do 2 maneuvers and then an action.
Okay.
So your first maneuver is spent kicking that door shut. And also on your turn, Ross or Cicatrix hears a bing, bing, just like a cheery little bell note. Fauna are loose in the walk-in, and it's just like this little just like kind of a banal, casual announcement.
I guess.
So you have an action still.
My action, I would like with the various arms that he has at his disposal to sort of like try to
grab at them.
Yeah, grab at them and like
get the horrible, like wavy, angry, bitey things.
Yeah, but it's sort of like he's trying not to kill him, and they're made of fleshy bits, so he doesn't want to accidentally kill him. He's sort of like how when you're trying to wrangle an overly enthusiastic puppy off of you, But-
Or like an angry garden hose.
or angry garden hose. You're just like, meh.
Whack,
Yeah. Uh, back into the cooler,
Okay.
and he to do so. I guess he's also trying to lure them with like a random bit of meat that he found somewhere.
Interesting. Okay, so what you are going to need to roll for me
Mhm.
is, give me just 1 second, because this is an interesting choice. This is not what I expected you to do.
Well, not supposed to kill him, so
No, you are not. They're company property.
yeah.
You are not to kill them.
I mean, how are they gonna? How is company going to punish me? I'm company property.
Yeah, they're basically gonna just, do not good things to you. It's essentially what's gonna happen.
Wonderful.
Hang on, sorry. All right, so I think that you are trying to grab creepy, freaking out, wavy things, right? I think
Mhm.
that this is going to be a coordination test. Because it's a matter of fast reflexes. So
Yes.
this is going to be based on your agility, and I don't think you have any ranks in coordination.
I do not.
So you are going to be rolling 3 green dice,
Mhm.
and this is an opposed test. And they are also going to be rolling coordination against you.
Okay. So I only roll the 3 greens. I don't roll the anti dice.
You do not roll anti-dice, except that I'm going to add 1 black die to your pool
Oh.
because they are so small and fast.
Ah. Okay. Uh. I have no successes, but I have 2 advantage.
Okay, I'm going to roll now. They have 1 success and 1 advantage, so one of them beats you and like continues to scrabble away out of the box now. Oops. And I have 2 advantages, and so the other one beats you and also scrabbles out of the box and onto the floor of the walk-in. And like they're just kind of all over the place. How do you respond to the "there's fauna loose in the walk-in" announcement?
Has this happened before?
It absolutely has happened before. Maybe
Okay.
not this badly, but it's razor pedes are hard to, manage.
Right.
It's primarily why Cookie does it.
Is there perhaps something that I've used before? Some kind of, well, I imagine there's some kind of cleaning machine. You know how like, there's a broom and a
Mhm.
bucket or something like that. Is there something that I could use to try and put on top of like a box or something that I can try and trap one in without it getting on me? Like
A fryer basket.
a fryer basket?
Yep.
All right.
Fryer basket.
So,
So
and I'm on the cooking line right now.
I
or-
mean, if you headed away from the front of the house into the
front of the
kitchen, there's the fryer is basically boom right there
okay.
on and roiling, but there's a fryer basket in there.
So she would kind of excuse herself and cautiously go
And
and
the Aqua's just like, "What kind of service is this?"
she turns and she says, "Your order will be right out, sir." Like it's not gonna be right out. but
It's
she's-
absolutely not going to
Yeah.
be right out.
It'll be right out. And she goes back to the back, but she barely opens the door and makes sure that like there isn't one right there about to get out first.
Mhm.
And then
Like-
she's like and she's like looking down and then she tries to like quickly go in and shut the door like
Yeah,
as
okay.
fast as she can.
I'll need a coordination test for that.
All right.
So it'll be if you have no ranks in coordination, it'll be just your agility pool.
I don't know if I have coordination.
I have 3 green coordination.
Okay, so yeah, you're just going to be rolling green dice for this.
Just 3 greens. All
3
right.
greens.
Each are greens. All right, so that's 2.
Actually, I'm sorry. I should have added a 1 purple to this roll.
Damn it. Okay. hang on.
Sorry. I should have said that.
Okay, so I get 2 successes, 2 advantage, 1 threat.
Okay.
So the threat gets rid of one of my advantages, right?
So you have 2 successes, 1
and
advantage.
1
yes.
advantage.
Now you can spend that advantage favorably by a number of ways that can work. For instance, for spending 1 advantage, you could recover a strain, add a boost die to your next allied character's check. So the next time Cookie makes a skill check or a combat check or anything like that, you would get to add a blue die. You can also notice a single important point in the ongoing conflict, such as where are the Razorpedes?
Right.
Inflict a critical injury, which you're not doing, or activate a weapon quality, which you are also not doing.
I think I would want to know where they are. Like that's really like her whole process is getting into the kitchen without having them get out as fast as possible, and where the fuck are they?
Okay.
Basically.
So you can spend your advantage to locate one of them.
All right, that's what I'm going to do.
And that Razorpede is essentially at like eye level to you as soon as you walk in. It's just like right there, like reared up like a cobra with its like crazy.
How big? Wait, how big are these things?
Probably about 2 feet long.
Oh Jesus! I thought they were small or something.
No! They're like 2 feet long.
How did they get out of How did they get out of the cooler or the walk-in? I closed the walk-in.
No, she opened the door to the walk-in, and it is
Oh.
there.
No, I thought I opened the door to the kitchen.
Oh, I apologize.
Okay.
I apologize.
Yeah, no. I didn't open the walk-in.
All about to take a very grisly turn.
I
no.
apologize.
That's okay.
So you are going back into the kitchen.
Just to where the fry pans are.
Yeah, no.
The fry.
That's an incidental. You go into the kitchen,
Yeah.
fry pan, boom.
Okay. No, I don't open the door to the walk-in.
Fry basket.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
I
I'm not
do.
opening that door.
I grab. Well, see, how would it fit in a fry basket then? Is it a big fry basket?
I mean,
Okay, so they're pretty big.
Yeah,
see,
they're pretty big, and they're
I was
deep.
picturing French fries, like just a thing. Okay.
No, there's some really awful shit that gets fried in that fryer.
Ew.
So they have to be kind of big.
So she grabs a fry basket and she looks to see where and she doesn't see any.
She sees no cookie and no creme.
No
and
cookie
no
and no creme and no Razorpedes.
No Razorpedes in the kitchen itself.
Okay.
There's a lot of grease and some filth, but no Razorpedes that you can see.
She is going to stand outside the door to the walk-in with the fry basket.
Just ready to go.
Yeah.
Okay,
Like,
I love it. She's prepared.
There are
Now,
many
so
things I'm glad I didn't do.
So your advantage is spent on determining what exactly the fuck is going on in the kitchen, and the answer to that is nothing.
Okay.
So you're good. You've got your fry basket. You're planted and ready in a stance in front of the fucking walk-in door.
Yeah. I'm ready for the pitcher to pitch me a razor.
Now it is their turn.
Oh, you know what I also do is I also slip my hand before I grab the fry basket. I slip my hand in my pocket and I put my brass knuckles on.
Okay, I like it. I like that you carry brass knuckles to work. It's a quality tactic. Okay, it is now their turn. One of them attacks you, Cookie.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it's not great. So it's going to roll a green dice. You are not wearing armor.
Mm-mm.
And you're, I believe, for some reason I'm having a brain fart.
I have toughness.
Yeah, what's your soak right now?
My soak? Where do I see that?
Let's see. Your soak is based on your bronze score.
Oh, there it is. Okay, the soak is not accurate anymore because... so brawn is 3.
So soak is 3.
And then I have wound threshold +2. No, +2 rank?
Yeah, hang on. Let me...
Does that make me a 5 on the soak then?
Let me pull up your character sheet real fast. Sorry.
Okay.
Because your specializations do... toughened is +2 wound threshold.
But
Right.
what is rank 2? I don't think it's probably irrelevant, honestly.
Yeah, feral strength and lethal blows don't add.
Soak.
Yeah, they don't add soak, and toughened only adds wound threshold. So you have 15 wounds, and your soak is 4,
Soak is 4.
according to the sheet that you and I built together.
Okay.
Because your brawn is 3, your agility is 3, and you've got some stiff.
Can I update my defense and strain because those are also old numbers?
Your defense, your strain should be 11. Right now, it should be 10
Okay.
because you took a strain, and your defenses should be 0. Your melee and your ranged defense should be 0.
Okay.
So it's going to try to bite the hell out of you.
Yay.
Yay. It gets a success. So it bites the. Well, you're engaged with it. So Sorry, I should roll difficulty there. Now it gets a threat. So it gets a marginal success, but it also gets a threat. If you don't roll a failure or a success, like for instance, if you only roll advantages and you only roll threats, you still get a marginal success. It's just
Gotcha.
not as good. So it bites you, and fortunately, your soak is high enough that it cannot get through.
So soak is AC.
Soak is not AC. Soak is damage reduction.
Oh. Okay.
Soak reduces every point of incoming damage unless, you're being shot at with like a high caliber plasma rifle or something with pierce, which negates certain soak, or
Okay.
breach, which is like it's an anti-vehicle weapon, which negates a whole shitload of soak.
Gotcha.
So soak is damage reduction. So you don't actually take damage from the Razorpede. It also it bites the hell out of you. Now it got a threat. There's not really much you can spend threats on for this guy because he's just like a little minion and he doesn't have strain. His turn is essentially over. The other one scrabbles around in the back, in the walk-in, trying to get away from you, but you close the door, so it can't get out. And that brings us back to you. And Krim is just kind of like hanging there, like swinging back and forth from his pants, like just on a hook, just like drooling.
See, when I say I'm glad I didn't make certain decisions, my initial idea was to drag him out of the walk-in, which would probably have resulted in him dragging the lid with him and knocking the container over.
Probably. If you hadn't rolled threats, the container would not have opened. But this is hilarious. I'm serious.
Wonderful.
Threats, that's exactly what the threats did. You had enough threats that I could really alter the story.
I will. Did I succeed in getting one of them in there? No, I failed on that. All right.
You did not do anything good.
All right. Well, they can't get anywhere.
This is true.
So since I'm gonna open one of my compartments that probably has like a Tupperware container in it.
I like it.
And I'm going to gather the ingredients that I require.
Just ignore this nonsense happening.
Ignore this nonsense because the problem with them is they don't want you to take their eggs and their larvae, and I need their eggs and their larvae.
That's true. That's true, and you would know that. So, give me a survival check to harvest the eggs and larvae from the environment box.
And survival is cunning, but I have a level in survival, so
you do have a level. So you're going to be rolling 1 yellow and give me a 2 purple. And you are familiar with this task. Please add a blue.
Ooh, okay.
So you're going to be rolling 1 yellow, 1 blue, and 2 purple.
No successes, but 3 advantages.
You get a marginal success, and you may spend 3 advantages. Now, you can use 1 advantage to recover strain, 1 advantage to add a blue dice to your next character's check. Notice a single important point in the ongoing conflict. Or you could spend 2 at once and perform an immediate free maneuver. Add black to a target's check, to an enemy target's check. Add blue to any allied character's check, including yourself. Or you could spend all 3 at once and negate a targeted enemy's defensive bonus. ignore penalizing environment effects, um, disable opponent rather than dealing damage or strain.
So
But
is
you're
it
not. So keep in mind that you didn't actually do anything combat related.
correct? Oh,
So
and grappling them would be combat related.
it would be combat related.
So if I can spend. You said one for a blue and one for a black, or two for those.
You would have to spend 2 to add black to their checks, or 2 to add blue to one of your checks.
And what does the one give me again?
1 recovers strain, adds a blue to an allied character's check.
Mm-hmm.
Notice a single important point in the ongoing conflict. Inflict a critical injury, which you're not doing. Activate a weapon quality, which you're not doing.
I would like to notice for one,
Mm-hmm.
and then add a black die for 2.
Okay. All right. You notice that there's an awful lot of eggs and larvae in here. Like, the meat needs to be replaced, but like there's a lot of product in here,
Okay.
and you can't detect it, but they're releasing a stress stink,
Stress stink.
like sort of a pheromone to say like, hey, we don't like what's happening. And then 2 to do what now?
Add a black die to their rolls when I'm because I'm about to grab them.
Okay, cool.
Do we have any other containers, by the way,
Other containers of what?
that we could put them in?
I mean, yes, but there's stuff in them.
That sounds like a no.
You have your like personal like
Vents and such.
flaps and shit that you could like stuff a living creature in.
You know what? Actually, I will take a chunk of freshish meat and shove that into
A compartment
a compartment that I know is
sealed,
sealable,
so they can't get into your system.
and they can't get out.
Yeah. Okay.
And basically turn portions of Cookie's torso into a razor pede habitat.
Oh God. Okay. What I will do is, if you spend a light, I will allow that.
I will spend a light. Oh, actually, let me consult with my compatriot. Should we spend a light for this?
Yes.
Let's do this.
Okay, so you somehow, with your intimate knowledge of razorpede habitat maintenance, make an ideal location in your chest cavity, or like one side of your chest cavity, for razorpedes. And you also, what did you roll to? You rolled successes. No, you didn't roll
3
any
successes. 0 successes, 3 advantages, and I spent.
But you still also harvest the requisite amount of larvae and eggs.
Yes.
For the meal.
Yeah. And so I can't use my action now, can I? Because I used
You just did. That was just your action.
So okay, so now I still have to get these. I still have to get these razorpedes.
Yeah, the razorpedes are like not happy, and they are going to try to continue to escape. However, you did create the perfect environment for them.
Yes, I'm just gonna leave the door open and wait for them to come in.
You also gave them a black die on their next check.
Yes.
And their next check is going to be a discipline test to avoid going into the perfected habitat. They do not succeed. They failed. So they immediately like stop what they're doing and like swivel to you, and they're like, "Oh, that's a nice place to live," and they really unsettlingly clatter up your body and like nest in your chest cavity, just hang out, and you're just like, click.
Excellent.
Like a little. It's like one of the cabinet doors that has that like push magnet, like that spring-loaded magnet. It's like click clack. The razorpedes are like thrashing about and making a hell of a lot of noise in your chest cavity right now. But they're there and they're contained. And you have in your other chest cavity, or your hands, whichever,
in the hands,
amount of eggs and larvae that you need for the razorpede omelet.
In a Tupperware container.
In a Tupperware container of
Yeah.
some kind, yes. And Krim is just like
Dumb Krim.
hanging and like swinging softly in the spin rotation of the station. Well, no, it's got a space elevator, so it wouldn't be spinning. Anyway, he's swaying softly in the artificial gravity of the station.
Does that end initiative? I don't know how that works.
Okay, technically combat is now over. You have
Okay.
resolved the conflict for now, and as soon as you open your chest plate, problems are going to resume. But fortunately, you're going to be able to just go like into the environment box, like take it out of your chest into the environment box.
You know what? That can wait. We're gonna close up the container.
Mhm.
I'm gonna leave Krim hanging from the hook by his pants,
Okay.
and then go out and cook this Aqualicious omelet thing.
Okay. All right.
And if anything untowards happens, I'm gonna weaponize some razor
Weaponize some fucking razor beads. Okay. All right. The door to the walk-in opens and out trundles Cookie
Okay.
with no razor peeds visible and with a Tupperware container full of eggs and larvae.
And I have the fry thing ready, and like as soon as the door opens, I flinch and start to move it towards him, but then I see it's just Cookie, and so I say, "Everything all right? Is the flora contained?"
Cookie raps on his chest. And
Clang, clang.
yes. Gonna continue rolling around to get the
And
circuitous
you see
route
Krim,
that requires.
You see Krim hanging from a meat hook
Okay.
in the walk-in, like completely limp, as if he were dead.
She goes to check on him.
Krim is very much alive, but deeply unconscious at the moment.
Okay.
That much is obvious.
Does it look like he's going to stay there for a while? Like, is
You
he
doubt that
is he gonna
has
fall?
physical capability to extricate himself from this hook,
Okay.
and in his present state.
Is the walk-in cold enough that it's going to do him harm if he stays in there for a while?
Give me a xenology check, because how
right.
familiar are you with human physiology? This will be a 2 difficulty test.
Yeah, so I have 2 greens and a yellow and then 2 purples.
Correct.
Let's see. All right, so that's success. Ooh, 2 threat. 4 threat.
Oh no.
So no, yeah. So I get 1 success and 2 threats because I had 2 advantage.
Okay.
So yeah, 1 success and 2 threats.
Your next check is going to have a black die on it, no matter what it is.
Great.
But you do believe that Krim will, at the very least, be safe here. Not exactly pleasant, but it's not harmful. It kind of sucks, but he's not going to die.
Yeah, like I mean, because like she doesn't think she'd be able to get him down right now anyway, because she's only 5.5 feet tall, and is he like pretty far up?
He's like the hook is hanging from the ceiling, which is 7 feet tall.
Yeah, she's
so
not
like his body is basically at head height for you.
Yeah, she's not gonna be able to. In other words, Cookie's gonna have to get him.
Cookie's
down.
gonna have to handle this problem,
and she's not really interested in talking to him about this right now.
Yeah. Give me a perception real quick. Give me a this is be a 3 purple perception test.
Okay, so that's 2 green and 3 purple, I think.
This is
Okay.
and add a black because this is your very next check.
And perception is cunning. Is
I
that
believe
right?
so. Yes.
All right. This is gonna suck.
Probably gonna suck.
All right, that's. Oh, okay. So that landed on the nothing side on the
Very
purple.
fortunate.
All right, so that's 3 threat. Fucking 4 threat. So wait, it's 2 successes and 3 threat.
2 successes and 3 threats. Okay.
Wow.
Okay. Okay. Krim appears to be having either, it's really hard to tell, but he could be having a seizure or a dream.
Oh
You have
God.
no idea which. He's kind of like shifting around erratically as he's hanging from his pants from a meat hook in a walk-in cooler.
Can I do a medicine check on him up
You
there?
could.
All right. And is it? I don't have any blacks now, right?
You don't, and this will be a 2 difficulty medicine check.
All right. Oh Jesus! All right. That's. Oh fuck! Triumph.
Nice. Okay, so triumphs are crazy because triumphs can be used to radically alter stuff.
Ooh.
For instance, a triumph can do everything an advantage can. One triumph can be spent on one advantage purchases, so to speak, or one triumph can buy any one of the 2 advantage things. One triumph can buy any one of the 3 advantage choices, and one triumph can do a very special thing. One triumph can be spent to upgrade the difficulty of an enemy's next check. So instead of rolling purples, they would roll a red or something like that. Upgrade any allied character's next check. So if Cookie was doing coordination again, you could, instead of making him roll 3 green, you could give him 1 yellow and 2 green. Or you could do something vital, such as shooting the controls of a nearby blast door shut, etc., etc., etc.
Okay.
So advantages or triumphs are kind of up to you. Like, we kind of have a little bit of a discussion about how to spend the triumph, but like, for instance, it would not be out of the realm of possibility to determine with a triumph what type of dream Krim is having. Like, is he having a nightmare or is he having a dream? Is this REM sleep or is this something else?
And so the other stuff still matters, right? I got 3 successes and 3 threat. Does that still matter?
Yeah, that still matters.
Okay,
still matters.
So yeah, 3 successes, 3 threat,
and a triumph. That's pretty great. That's a really good roll.
All right, so yeah, I want to know if he's having a nightmare or not.
He is absolutely having a nightmare. He is having a really bad one, and his body is just so, messed up that he would be losing his mind like a night terror if he weren't so weak right now. Like, his eyes are going back and forth like in REM sleep, like they're nobody's business. His chest is pumping with like his heart. He's breathing really rapidly, like rapid short breaths.
So I think she would go over to Cookie and say, we need to get him on the ground.
And Cookie's in the middle of cooking.
Yeah, she would normally leave him alone, like, for the most part, because they both have a job to do and stuff. So like, this is a big deal for her to be saying something while he's cooking, while Cookie is cooking. So,
where the fuck is my food?
Is that what he yells?
Yeah, the customer out front yells that.
I'll deal with him. You deal with him.
And like cooking. Actually, roll a survival test to cook this razor peat omelet real quick. And obviously, whatever you just said is going to happen, contingent on Cookie actually agreeing with you.
Right.
But you're being distracted. Add a black die.
I
damn
just
it.
finished rolling.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I wasn't ready.
All right,
to,
so I have a success and an advantage. Now let me roll this black die
and well, also roll a purple die
and a purple die.
because it's a test, right? I have to give
Oh.
you a difficulty.
Well, I have a failure and an advantage.
Okay. So you rolled. Roll again, because I kept adding things. To
No,
your
no,
rolls.
I did the math.
Okay.
If it was a failure and it, yeah.
So
my initial roll was a success advantage.
you burn the hell out of this. It's salvageable. It's salvageable with like the right addition of maybe some spices, which are not actually part of this recipe and constitute an infraction. You could definitely salvage this razor peat omelet. But also, Krim's having a night terror in the walk-in. So, like, how do you want to resolve this? Do you save the omelet and let him kind of suffer for a little bit?
This is actually already a failed omelet. I'm gonna trash the omelet.
Oh, so you have to go back.
We
to
already
the
have too many razor peat larvae and eggs in the container, so 2 birds.
And it's like, recipe failed. Infraction 1. On your screen, like it knows when you fuck up.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Superior has been notified.
The cursing that is now coming out of Cookie sounds like someone not like someone's torturing a modem so much as like a modem and a blender are having like hate sex.
Wow.
Yeah, he's not happy. He trundles along the circuitous garbage path that he's stuck to.
Circuitous garbage path. That's a fun sentence.
Goes into the meat locker. And attempts to pick up and drag Krim out of the walk-in.
Does he also grab the razor peat eggs and shit?
Oh, he's already.
You'll need.
He's basically thrown them in the garbage. Like
No, I mean the fresh ones.
Oh, as soon as he's basically tossed Krim
out
of the walk-in.
Give me an athletics test.
Okay. Let's see. Athletics is it's brawn.
You're pretty
right?
good at it.
Yeah. So I have 3 in brawn, and then I have 2 in athletics. So that is a green and 2 yellows, and I'm doing this against 3 purples.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Oh my god.
What did you get there, buddy?
A failure and 2. What's the bad ones again?
Threats. Oh, this is amazing. Okay, give me just a moment. Actually, let's go on break, and we will return to your abject failure.
Okay.
Awesome.
Now, I just slapped this overlay together, so we don't have a pause screen, folks. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to turn off our microphones and turn off our cameras, and you're going to see this lovely starscape going on. So we'll be back in a few minutes.
Like 5-10 minutes.
All right. Bye-bye. Hello.
Hello.
Something happened to our cameras.
What have you done?
Not a thing. For some reason, all of a sudden, for some reason, our windows are a lot wider than when I
Yeah,
left.
I see that. That's very odd.
Let me fix that real quick.
How very strange. It would not be a stream like our stream if there wasn't technical difficulties.
I mean, what else could you possibly want?
Also, like part of your like camera is like attached to the side of my camera.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very
Whoa.
special letterbox edition. Yes. Yes.
Special
Yes.
edition.
Yes.
Ultra widescreen.
No, we're not. No, we're not that fancy.
Lucas comes in and decides that we need some like dewbacks and crap.
Please no. Really no. I really don't want Disney involved in the production of this. This horrifically disrespectful to 25. No, I'm sorry, 45 years worth of like Star Wars.
Yeah, it's almost 50. Wait, is it? Yeah,
76.
that's 76, so
A long ass time. Longer
40,
than I've
43 years.
Okay, forgive me. 43. Welcome back. I'm Blind Cleric. We're the same three Jokers that you saw just moments ago.
Are we?
There was an abject failure to lift an unconscious human young man from a meat hook that he was hanging from. So, two things happen. You drop Krim onto the floor of the walk-in.
Wonderful.
Just kaplop. Down he goes.
Mm-hmm.
The Razorpedes will try to break out of your chest.
But I made it such a happy home for them.
No, they're angry now. You've angered them. And also, because you rolled 2 threats, they get a blue on this check.
Ah!
So, this is what you have wrought with your dice.
Damn dice.
They break out of your chest.
Well, it was nice knowing you, Krim.
Roll initiative, because now Krim is on the ground, the walk-in door is open, and
fuck.
there are Razorpedes coming out of your chest.
And initiative was a force die.
Initiative is not. Initiative for you is going to be vigilance.
Oh, that's right.
Same thing for me.
Are you haven't left the kitchen yet,
No,
and you can absolutely see all this horse shit happening.
yeah.
So you will also roll vigilance.
All right, so that's just 2 greens. I don't do the minus.
Yeah, this is
thing.
2 greens. No black, no anything.
All right.
1 success, 1 advantage.
Okay. What did you get there, buddy?
2 advantages.
Okay, and they got 1 success. So the order is now how initiative works is it's not player who rolled highest, NPC who rolled next, whatever. You gain slots. So Ross, you rolled the highest. So a PC slot of initiative happens first. Any one of you can use it. You can let Cookie use it because he's currently engaged with the problem at hand, or you can use it and Cookie can use the next one. So how this is going to work is you have a PC slot first, then there's going to be the NPC slot, which is going to be the Razorpedes, and then another PC slot. So across those 2 slots, you can choose who goes when.
So I could conceivably run
Hold.
over. Oh, I could conceivably run over and try and. I'm not very strong, but I could try to pick.
Yes.
Krim up off the ground.
You could try to do that, yes.
Alternately, I could chuck Krim out of the...
You could
Walk-in.
also do that.
And keeping in mind, Cookie doesn't care about, well, anything, including Krim. So he won't be gentle.
It's up to you.
See, I think Cicatrix knows that, so I think that's why
Okay.
she's trying to get over there first.
If you agree
Um,
to let Cicatrix have the first slot, that's completely on the party's side of decision making. I can't do anything with that.
I think Roz rolling high and getting the slot gets to decide.
Okay.
All right, so she tosses the fry basket towards the. Well, they're right next to him, right? Because they've just gotten out of his chest.
Yeah, they're essentially on like Crim floor, Razor Pete's floor.
Okay. So she tries to toss the fry basket over towards the razor peds
Okay.
as she's going over to try and
So
pick
it'll be
Grim up.
a maneuver to get there, right? And you're tossing the fry basket.
Yeah.
So give me a agility roll because this is an improvised weapon and add a black to it. And you are rolling a 2. So what your pool is going to look like is your agility.
I don't see agility on here. Is it just 2
It's your
greens?
characteristics.
Your characteristic.
Okay, so 3 means 3 greens, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So
Alright,
you're going to have agility,
Uh-huh.
2 purple,
Okay.
1 black
Shit. All right.
because it's an improvised weapon.
Oh, that's 4 3 successes and 1 threat.
Oh wow.
Whoa. Okay, you take a strain because of the threat. That's how I spend my threat against you. So
All
deduct
right.
from your strain total. 3 successes. I'm gonna let that. Since I don't, there's no real way to adjudicate damage of a fry basket. So
I was really trying to try and
and that's exactly what happens.
distract.
You go whap, and the fry basket is over the razor peats. Now, how you're going to keep it there and handle Crim at the same time is
That's up to Cookie.
Who can say? Now it's the razor peats.
Okay.
The razor peats don't like being in the fry basket. They're going to try and get out. So they're going to roll athletics. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so they get a threat and they marginally succeed. So they kind of get out from under the basket. Like they're squirming out from under it. Like they're caught, but they're almost out. That brings us to the last PC slot, which is going to be Cookie. What's Cookie doing? And keep in mind, you cannot kill these. Well, you can kill these things. It's just against company policy.
They're squirming out of there, which gives me the impression that they're easy to grab.
Okay. Rocket.
Or to keep them from moving out, you could push the cage down, the basket down on them and pin
But you'd
them.
risk crushing them.
Seriously, that's a high probability thing for Cookie, I imagine, because he's a droid and doesn't really have those. Would he have fine motor skills? I mean,
He's got a pretty high agility.
Yeah.
You'd have pretty fine manipulation and fine motor skills.
Do I trust my rolls?
I mean, here's what it's going to be. Either way, it's going to be athletics to grab them and hold, or it's going to be athletics to pin them in place without killing them.
I'd like to grab them so I actually can guarantee that I have control over them.
Okay, then I'm going to need a 2 difficulty athletics test, but add a blue because they're pinned.
All right, so that's 2 purples, a blue, a yellow because 2 yellows because I have athletics 2, and agility brawn 1.
Yes.
Or brawn 3 rather. So 1 green.
It'd be 2 yellow, 1 green, 2 purple, 1 blue.
All right. And 3 successes and 2 advantages.
Okay. You can spend your advantages to recover strain, perform a free maneuver, which in this case might be useful because you simultaneously could grab them and maneuver them to the environmental container.
It's exactly what's going to happen.
Okay, cool. So you've got 2 filling, partially metal, partially chitin. horrifying insects in your hands,
Mm-hmm.
and you're like put 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 to the environmental case.
Can I
And
also
okay,
use some of my other limbs to collect more larva and egg before as I?
here's what would be allowed to do. You spent an action to grab.
Yes.
You spent your advantages to make a free maneuver. You have a maneuver left.
So that would count as a maneuver collecting those.
Yes, it would.
Okay, I will do that. Oh.
Okay, so now
Yes.
you're like the little bitty, creepy T-Rex arms,
Yes.
of which you have a couple,
Mm-hmm.
have like started gathering up the larvae and eggs for the next batch of razorpede omelet.
Yeah.
And you have two horrifying, flailing adult razorpedes in your main arms,
Yes.
and you are right over the environmental cooler.
Yes.
So you have things under control. It's just a matter of next turn. Can you get them
Into the cooler.
into the cooler? It brings us now back to the first PC slot. Now you can let Cookie have it to solve conflict, like end the combat right now by putting them in the trying to put them in the case. Or you can take it and try and get Krim out in case Cookie would fail.
My goal is to try and protect Krim
Okay.
for as much as he really deserves it. And yeah, I think that's my goal. So I want to try and because I was gonna do a medicine check, but I think I'm gonna try and drag him out of there.
Okay, all right. That'll be an athletics test.
All right.
He is
I'm
an
not great
unconscious body. This probably be a 3 difficulty athletics test.
So 3 purples.
3 purples. Yep.
Jesus Christ, this is not. Gonna
No,
go
actually,
well.
I'm sorry. 2. You're dragging him.
Okay.
You're dragging him.
Yeah, I'm not
If you were
trying to
like
pick him up.
lifting him up, yeah, it would be
All right, cool.
grab him by his belt
Still
loops and just
sucks.
haul him out.
Oh shit. Oh, okay. 3 3 successes and 2 threat.
Okay. I'm going to spin my threat with. The next allied character receives a black on their check.
Hmm.
So,
All right.
but you get Krim out of the walk-in. He's
Okay.
dragged fully out of the walk-in and into the kitchen, leaving a smear across the ground where he's disturbing the grease.
Okay, but it's not blood anyway.
It's not blood, no. He
All
doesn't
right.
appear to be bleeding, just unconscious and probably covered in filth.
Like at first when she sees that, she's like, because she doesn't really know, she hasn't really had that much experience with humans and blood.
Yeah.
So at
No,
first
he's
she's
just
like,
disturbing and like
okay.
displacing kitchen grossness on
Yeah.
the ground.
like she recognizes that it's just
Yeah.
oil and shit. All right, so that's what she does.
Okay, cool. That brings us to the Razorpedes, and they are going to try to escape. And since this is going to be an opposed check, you're going to add a black to it. So what they're going to do is they're going to roll their agility, trying to get away from you,
Mm-hmm.
and you are going to roll your athletics, trying to hold on to them, but add a black.
All right. So wait, I roll a black
You roll a black and your athletics.
and my athletics, and do I roll
No.
any purples?
No, this is opposed.
Okay, so you're rolling those. All
Mhm.
right.
Ready?
Yes.
Go.
2 advantage.
Oh, they get 2 successes and 1 advantage.
Ah.
So they, interestingly, they get out of your hands, but they can't fly, so they drop into the cooler.
Excellent.
But they're out of your hands, and so that was their action. Was try to get away. Their maneuver is going to be getting out of the container again. So they're out of the container, and they are now like, ooh. You know what? I'm going to spend a dark point. They are furious with you. You're holding their larvae and eggs. So they're just going to start attacking you. But they can't. They've spent their actions and their maneuvers.
Okay.
So next turn, they're going to try to attack you. This brings us to the third slot, which is a PC slot. So go ahead.
Uh,
Grab them again.
Grabbing them again.
Athletics test. This is opposed by coordination. So, go ahead.
So am I doing another basic athletics in the black?
Yep, this is a opposed test, so it's going to be your dice versus my dice.
Okay, so I'm
You
not
have no
adding the
blacks.
disadvantage die. Okay.
Nope.
4 advantage.
Okay. 2 successes and 2 advantages, so they are not grabbed. You have 2 maneuvers left. Cicatrix and Krim are out of the walk-in right now.
Closing the door.
Okay, door is now closed.
And I'm going to spend the 4 advantage that I've gained,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to give myself a blue and them a black on the next roll.
Very intelligent. I like that a lot. Okay. That brings us back to the PC slot. Cicatrix or Cookie, who's going?
It's up to Cicatrix.
Okay.
I can do if you want.
Like at this point, I'm just gonna be staying there, making sure that, like, because I don't want to bring him out of the kitchen.
Yeah, I understand. There's like
You
an
know?
unconscious body now,
Right.
like dragging an unconscious body out of
So-
the kitchen into the customer area.
So, like, I'm just eyeing the fry basket. Like, I'm not gonna even make a move towards it right now. Like, it's still in the kitchen, right? The fry basket, or did I throw
You
it into the
threw it
cooler?
into the walk-in to pin, so it's in the walk-in.
I don't do anything then.
Okay, cool. So, if you're not going to do anything, it would probably be most advantageous for Cookie to take this slot.
Cookie is
Yeah.
going to then go after the. For the maneuver, he's going to take the meat that he stuck in his torso out and put it back in to
The environment box.
and then
Okay,
he's
cool.
going to try grappling the.
Okay. Now, they're taking a black setback die on this roll,
Setback, yes, that's what they're called.
and then you're taking a blue boost die on this roll.
Boost.
So
Makes a lot of
let us roll opposed.
All right, let's do it.
Ah! Oh wow, I rolled really weird. I have 3 blank die and 2 successes.
Oh wow, 2 successes, 3 advantage, and a triumph.
You got a triumph.
Yeah.
Okay. How would you like to spin that triumph?
Because
you succeed. You grab them.
I could basically just do anything with his triumph.
Not necessarily anything, but like, field an idea to me, and we can talk about it. If it's not out of it's like as long as you're like, I apotheose into the droid god, you can't do that.
No.
Feasibly, what you could do is grab them, maneuver to put them into the
box.
and I'd also, you could say you spin the triumphs like they're stunned. You grab them roughly and go, "Nyeh," and stun them and
shake
throw
them vigorously.
Ah! Like some legs come off.
I'm basically trying to shake them in such a way that it seems like their flailing will cause them to force them into the container.
And so like they fall into the cooler and they're just kind of like, what the hell happened there? So they're stunned. So basically their turn doesn't really happen.
Okay.
I mean, that's an aggressive way of using stun, but I like it, so that's what we're going to do.
And then securely close this thing and put it somewhere where Krim cannot sleep on it. But
Krim cannot sleep on it. Okay,
Yeah.
so what you can do is you can spend your action to vigorously grab them and shake them. That's
Yes.
the triumph and the action.
Mhm.
And drop them into the box. And they're going to stay there. And you're going to have an opportunity, because their turn doesn't happen, essentially.
Yeah.
Cicatrix's turn on the outside of the walk-in is basically going to be doing nothing. So it's going to come back to you in initiative first, so you could absolutely accomplish putting the lid on and putting the box up high or something like that.
Yeah, just going to slide it under like one of those, like usually walk-ins have a shelf system.
Mhm.
And he's just going to slide it into like the floor portion of the shelf system.
Okay.
So you'd have to basically pull it back out to get at it.
Okay.
And then
Well, okay, brawn test pick up the environment container, which is like one of those like Rubbermaid coolers. It's pretty big.
Okay. Brawn is 3. So it's just
Athletics. So
athletics.
it's an athletics
So
test.
okay. So
And
athletics
this is
is
a 2 difficulty athletics test. So it'll be yellow, yellow, green, purple, purple,
purple. Purple.
purple, 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 purple. Sorry.
That's 4 successes and 2. I keep wanting to say tragedies because as a different game I was playing this weekend, the last weekend.
Triumphs.
No, opposite
Threats.
of threats. Thank you.
Nice. So like you take strain, and you're pretty sure you hurt the. Okay. So you take a black on your next check. Whatever it is, you take a black on it.
Mhm.
But you successfully get the cooler or environmental box into a place where Krim can no longer sleep on it.
Excellent.
I think that ends combat.
Excellent. Cookie rolls out and grumbles in whatever the Star Wars common is and says he's never allowed in there unsupervised again. Otherwise, he goes into the next omelet.
Understood.
And continues grumbling along the circuitous garbage path that he's permanently attached to.
Both of you roll perception tests for me. This will be a 1 purple perception test.
1 purple perception. Ooh.
Yeah. Okay, so it's 2 greens.
All right. Perception is cunning. I only have 1 cunning.
And you're going to add a black to it, remember.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to add a black to it. Oh, blank spaces all the way across.
You didn't get a single result? All
Not
blank?
a single result.
I think that counts as a marginal success. I don't actually know. That's never happened to me.
You got all blanks?
All blanks.
Oh, shit.
We're just going to say it's a marginal success for now. I'll check the rules later. It's
All right.
irrelevant.
Well, on one of the greens, I got 2 successes, but on the purple, I got 2 fails.
Okay.
And on the other green, I got an advantage.
Okay, so
So
you
I
still
got
succeed.
no successes and an advantage.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
it's still
marginal success. You hear the horrible broken speaker go, welcome to Speedy Slorbo's
Oh shit.
sustenance shack, that kind of thing happen. The very slow 25-second because it's broken announcement of you have a customer essentially,
Yeah.
or at least the door has opened. And Krim is unconscious on the ground having a night terror. You're holding onto Krim's belt loops. Cookie's cooking a
He's still cooking
razor
the
peat
omelet.
omelet. What are you doing? What's going on here?
I let go of Krim. I can't deal with this right now. He's not dead. It's
This is
fine.
true. He is not dead.
He's not dead. He doesn't look like he's going to be dead in the next 5 minutes. So, Cicatrice gets up and says, I just hope he knows not to go in there. And gets and walks out and grabs one of the menu things,
Mhm.
and
Okay. As soon as you walk out, you see that the Aqualish is gone.
shit. She wouldn't cancel the order because what if he's going to come back?
Could be in the can.
Yeah, so she's going to ignore that for right now. And who do I see?
No
what,
one.
Who or what? No.
No,
Oh,
there's not
oh.
a single person in
he
the.
left, and that's why the thing went off.
Yeah.
So she grabs the thing, and she starts saying, "Welcome to," and then she stops, and then, and then she puts it back, and she grabs the one that was there for him, and she puts it back,
Yeah.
and then she goes and she says,
"You suck," has been carved into
"Oh,
the counter
damn!"
in basic,
Carved like with a knife,
like with a knife point, just.
she sighs, and she goes and she kind of like cracks the kitchen door open, and she just says, "He's gone," and then like just that's all he's.
Extricates herself from that situation.
He's gone, and then again she could go check on Grim, but she's gonna go. She's gonna go and try and cover that carving
Get some
up.
varnish and like buff it out.
Yeah, like she's gonna try and figure out like is there some like she like the first idea she has is to get is there some kind of like the side to a box or something that she could just put over it for right now.
Yeah. There's
Like
something
the quick and dirty is there just like a
there's like a flyer, like a promotional flyer that you could like set on top of it, like just a
that's what she
flimsy.
does. She
Yeah,
does.
we're gonna handle that later.
She just puts it down and like maybe is there like tape or something? She like tapes or like something or
Okay,
tapes
sure.
it down. Tapes
Yeah,
it,
I like it. I
like
like it.
like in the manner of like a window's broken, so they just like put like some plastic up and
Yep.
tape it. That's kind of what the
I like it.
solution is.
That's exactly what you can do.
And then she goes back into the kitchen and tries to do a medicine check on Grim.
Okay. Cookie. On your screen it says customer walkout, infraction 1.
Yay!
Order canceled. And you've already started to cook the razorpede larva and eggs again.
Just going to continue cooking it
Okay.
with.
Give me a survival check.
Okay.
And you don't have any blacks or anything like that this time. Black die, because you're not being distracted by cicatrix.
All right. That is 1 yellow for me.
Did you
Advantage.
have? This would be a 1 purple.
Oh.
No. Wait, I'm sorry. You're not being distracted. So this is an incidental. You can automatically succeed at this, provided you rolled a success.
I rolled an advantage.
Okay, you succeed. You can
Okay.
you create an acceptable razorpede omelet.
And then I will put the razorpede omelet on. I will plate the razorpede omelet. I will cover it,
Mm-hmm.
and I will put it somewhere where it will stay not bad until someone
Okay.
orders the razorpede omelet.
Sure. Okay. So Cicatrix is doing medicine on Krim.
Yeah.
Um,
Right.
Now you've already identified what's wrong with him. So
Okay.
whatever you're trying to do, you're going to need to add a blue die to it because you've already determined what precisely is going on.
I have like she always keeps a medicine kit on her.
Oh, okay, cool. Like a first aid kit.
Yeah, she has one on her. It's like she has 2, but one's in her like sleeping
All right.
quarters.
If you're using a medicine kit, like a med pack, is that what it is? Is that
Yeah,
what it
I don't
says?
remember exactly, but it's like whatever the I'm trying to find it. Healer's kit.
Okay. So you automatically add another blue for using that. And what
Okay, so
are you
that's 2
trying?
blues?
Yeah, it'll be 2 blues
All right.
plus whatever. What exactly are
I'm
you
trying to see if there's any way I can fix him in some manner, like
Okay.
or I can make him not be unconscious or try to.
All right, so this is a 2 difficulty medicine check to figure out what precisely to do about this. But you add
Yeah.
your blues and you add your skill and stuff like that.
All right, so 2 blues, 2 purples, and then my normal thing.
Yeah.
Oh man, the yellow gave me nothing. Oh, and that purple gave me nothing.
Nice.
All right, so I have. Oh, and the advantages and the threats cancel out, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. So I have 2 successes and 1 advantage.
Nice. How would you like to spend your advantage?
Oh man. I don't remember exactly what the rules for that are. Can
You
refresh
could
my
recover
memory?
strain.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I have 1
Okay.
strain.
Cool. You can recover that.
All right, I'm recovering the strain. Okay.
All right, and your successes indicate to you that Krim's level of exhaustion and otherwise, his intense withdrawal symptoms have basically taken such a toll that he's not probably going to regain consciousness until he recovers. Like he's not like he's not like in a coma.
Okay.
It's just that he is so exhausted that he has finally collapsed, and his body is just like, no, I will not wake up.
Okay.
Like you could like give him a stim pack or something, which would like supercharge his system and wake him up. But that would probably be a bad idea.
Yeah, she doesn't think that's a good idea at all.
You could, at this point, his best case scenario is to just ride it out and get into a safe spot to sleep. And just, sorry, you're going to have a night terror.
So she thinks back about the training mission and how she was able to save her friend, and she just puts her hand on his arm, and she just tries to bring herself back to that moment to see if anything happens, because she doesn't really know exactly what happened there,
right?
But she knows that like something she did helped him, or helped her friend. So
and keep in mind, y'all have light that you can spend. I think you've got.
Oh yeah, I've only used one so far.
I spent a dark point, and so you should have 3 light again, and I should have 2 dark.
Okay.
So you are going to need to roll me a discipline test at 4 diff, so a 4 purple discipline test.
And what are my other things? Let's see. Is it discipline? Is that a thing?
It's a skill.
Okay, yeah. So that's 2 green, 4 purples.
Yes.
And that's it, right?
Yeah, and you can spend light to do crazy stuff.
I want to spend light. How do I?
Okay. So
I need to
for
roll
a light,
those still, right?
You would still need to roll,
okay.
but like for instance, I'm going to spend a light and upgrade my check. So you would turn one of those greens into a yellow.
Okay, that's what I'm going to do.
Okay.
All right. Oh, Jesus Christ. No, this is horrible. Yeah. I end up with 2 failures and a threat.
Okay, so failures don't stack. You can only get
okay.
So they don't get compoundingly worse.
Good.
There's just failure. So you got failure and what?
And a threat.
Okay, so you take a strain, like
Great.
trying to like summon this gestalt force that you have no idea what it is.
Yeah.
Don't do it, and you're just kind of like you look really awkward, just resting your hand on this unconscious pile of creme.
And like behind my mask, like my eyes start to bulge a little bit, and
like,
then
oh, ow!
I can, and then it like, and I'm just like, this isn't doing anything.
Yeah. Fuck, damn it.
Yeah. Or whatever the equivalent of damn it is.
I mean, I don't know the language super well, but like, expletives are expletives. You get it.
Frack. Oh wait, wrong
Frack.
universe.
Yeah, wrong universe.
Yeah. Frack. All right, so she just tries to make him comfortable.
Okay. Do you move him around?
Hey, Rush Dark Shadow. Yeah, like so she looks for like, is there like pillows or something? There's no pillows, but I mean, is there something...
like there's a pallet of like vegetables, like in boxes that you could like just heap him up on.
Yeah, she tries,
which is a health violation, but who gives a shit?
She tries to drag him up onto the vegetable pallet.
give me an athletics check.
All right.
2 difficulty, just like last time.
All right.
Just hauling crimson.
I'm just dragging him across the kitchen again. Oh fuck!
Welcome to Speedy Slurfo's sustenance check. Plays.
You said that doesn't.
Wait, it does?
Oh yeah, it plays.
Oh, wonderful.
In the middle of all this.
Great. All right, so but if I get 2 fails and 2 successes, they cancel out.
Yes, those
All right.
cancel.
So I get 1 advantage and 2 threat out of that.
So you would generate 1 threat out of all of them.
Okay. Oh yeah. So it's
Because
1
advantage
threat.
is-
That's right.
So 1 threat, which is still a marginal success, but you take another strain.
Great. This guy's gonna be the death of me.
I mean, you don't die at 0 strain. It just sucks. But you heap him up into a pile on some, and like holding on to him, he is like skin and bones.
Yeah. So as she drags him up, she's like, "You're killing me, Krim.
You're killing me.
You're killing me. You're killing me." All right. So she does that, and then she goes out to see what new hell she has to deal with.
It's your manager.
Great.
Your manager is a, you know, pretty, reasonable individual. He is a Devorian, like a middle-aged Devorian, and Devorians are like they look like the devil essentially.
Ah.
Let me. I don't have a picture that I could show you, but if you look up a Devorian, they have like the curling backward horns and the pointed impish face. They essentially
teeth,
look like, yeah.
pointy ears.
The funny thing is like lore wise, like the species is actually quite pleasant, and they've been a part of the Galactic Republic for thousands of years. They're good. They're generally reasonable individuals and decent people. They have a lot of negative prejudice because they look like the devil. Well, the human devil.
There's a devil. There's a in the human cosmology in Star Wars.
I mean, there's gods and devils, plural. I mean,
Okay.
There's negative deities and positive deities. I mean, religion is a thing in Star Wars. It's just not established as to what and how many, but presumably there could be thousands of varying human religions, given that there are many, many, many human cultures, as well as other cultures, near human cultures, non-human cultures have religions and things like that. There's all kinds of stuff. But yeah,
So-
he looks like the devil, and he's like, "Oh, good morning.
And
How's the shift?"
she puts the menu back down because that was her immediate.
Yeah, her immediate reaction
reaction.
is just grab a menu and
Yeah, and she puts it back down and she says, "It could be better."
okay. Everybody's here.
Yeah,
Oh, great.
everybody's here.
I've got some paperwork in the office that I need to do, so I'm gonna go and handle that. I'm sorry, I can't remember his name. Is he back with the truck yet?
No.
Oh man, must be really bad traffic today. All right, well, I mean, we can handle the inventory later. I'm sure it'll be fine. Truck days usually aren't too busy. Hopefully, we'll see. But yeah, I've got to handle some paperwork right away. So keep up with the good work.
Okay. Thanks.
I'm gonna roll to see if he notices Krim.
Okay.
Sleep.
Krim is his connection, right?
Krim is his drug dealer.
Yeah.
Okay.
He absolutely notices Krim, but doesn't care, and is like, "Well, he's here. That's the important thing." And he has probably got my fix, which is also the important thing.
And you hear.
And actually, you're not really sure what Krim provides to this guy, but like it's clearly enough that like Krim can't be fired.
Cookie says he almost became Razor Pete food.
Well, it does happen.
Mm-hmm.
I see that you have 2 infractions. 3 infractions. Do we want to talk about that now, or do you want to talk about that later?
They're his infractions.
It says Cookie.
That's because I can't leave.
I mean, I can't dispute the board that says KOK3. or whatever your Coke. Listen, it says cookie on there. They're your infractions.
Does Cicatrice hear this?
Oh yeah.
So she's gonna come in and say, "It's my fault. I distracted him."
Well, I mean, if it was your fault, your name would be on the board.
Oh.
And like, I appreciate you wanting to take one for the team. That's really not necessary. He's a droid. He doesn't really have feelings.
He's technically correct. I don't.
And also, he's property, so.
Being reminded that he's property, various compartments open up.
Clack, 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 clack,
Clack, clack, clack, clack, clack, clack, clack, in a very hostile manner.
Hostile clacking. The hostility has grown. And so your manager, who is Jadal. Jadal is your manager. It's Jhadla. No, Dal. Sorry, Jadal. Yeah, Dal. My mistake. Goes into his like microscopic office, which is like literally chair, desk, pile of papers, door. That's it. That's the only things in there, and he shuts it. And essentially, he kind of just lets you handle business unless something stupid happens.
So Cicatrix will go and try and get a more permanent fix now that the manager's here.
Okay,
for this carving.
How are you gonna do that? What is your plan in this regard?
It's not something that can be flipped over like a couch cushion, right?
This is true. It is the entire counter, of which it is a single piece of fake wood plastic. Like one enormous piece of it.
What do the words say?
You suck. In whatever language is basic. Whatever alphabet, I should say. It's like Albrecht or something like that.
Yeah. I don't know how I remember that bit, but nothing else.
She considers turning it into your succulent, but it would take a lot of work.
Yeah, and also
that.
You'd have to damage company property.
Yeah, and she doesn't like the idea of doing that, but she does say it out loud. She says, "You suck. You're succulent." Nah.
No.
That's not
That's not gonna fly. Yeah.
And then she looks around for wood colored paint. Like she's just like anything to somehow cover this up.
Okay.
Is there wood out instead of white out? I don't know.
There are all kinds of strangely colored condiments.
Okay. So it's condiments.
I feel like the kind of place this happens on a fairly regular basis. We probably have a tub of something. Or
like
a tube
you
of
could just
something.
slap down.
Yeah.
Like a caulk or something.
For a yellow, I'll give you a caulk. For spending a light, I'll give you the perfect tool for it. Like caulk or whatever.
I'm up for that.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Let's
that
do
way
it.
What that does is your spending of a light for having the perfect tool basically negates you needing to roll.
Oh, cool. All right. Awesome.
It just goes, you slap it on there and you like spackle it in and then you scrape the rest off back into the bucket. It smells awful though. It's just like reeks of like acrid chemical.
She tries to use some kind of air freshener or like, is there a way to increase the fan?
Like crank up. Well, you have to get manager approval to turn on the fan.
Yeah, she doesn't want to bother him.
Okay, fair enough.
So what she does? She takes is there like paper or some kind of like fan? She just like starts.
Yeah. You could dry it faster.
Yeah, she just tries to dry it faster with some kind of cloth or something.
Okay. Let me think here. I'm going to spend a dark point.
Oh.
How dare you?
I am altering the story.
Pray I do not alter it further.
Pray I do not alter it further. Yes, terms of service. You're fanning this with like a menu, like data pad, or like 2 menu data pads.
Yeah.
Looking like a complete jackass. And your door goes off. And it sounds really kind of strangely weird this time. It's completely all bass. Like, it's not even words. It's just like this like rumble that doesn't like. Have you ever? I know I keep ending my sentences with qualifiers. Hang on. You know the old child's toy where it was like you pull down the plastic knob on like this spinny thing and this arrow spins around in the center and it lands on like a chicken or whatever, and it says the chicken goes.
Yeah.
And when they run out of batteries, they sound like the devil himself.
Yeah, they're playing that record extra slow.
Yeah, that's what happens to the door.
Welcome to Speedy Sword.
Yeah, it's awful. And it's like, oh, Jesus. But in has walked a black uniformed man with a very specific type of black cap. And behind him are 3 Imperial stormtroopers. And their boots are the only noise in the entire restaurant. And they walk just completely casually to a booth in the corner and take a seat. And the stormtroopers pop off their helmets and like set them on the table, or set them on a different table. And like one like takes out his gun, which is like a really like a fucking gun, and just sets it on the table out of his way so he doesn't sit on it. And they just start talking. They just start shooting the shit. Like, man, fuck patrols this week, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You like your bribes? Yeah, shut the fuck up. Don't talk about my bribes. That kind of thing.
And is the officer with them, or is he sitting at a different
He is
table?
right there with them.
Okay, so there's 3 stormtroopers and an officer at a table. Just 4 people.
The officer looks a lot younger, like your age. So like, I think what, your early 20s?
I'm like 19.
Okay, so yeah, your age.
Yeah, I think I'm 19 or something.
It's a super young officer.
It is. Isn't that curious? I wonder how that happened.
So she grabs 4 of the pads, at like a stack, and sort of tries to act cool, like tries not to like.
And keep in mind,
freak out.
You're in Hutt space, right? The Imperials and the Hutts have, and this would kind of be common knowledge, having lived here for a long time.
Yeah.
Because you may not be from Hutt space, but you've been on your own long enough in this, sector of the galaxy, where you kind of know the score.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, what this is kind of like Sin City. The cops know their place. The Hutts are reasonable to them as long as the cops are reasonable to the Hutts.
Right.
The Hutts are not at war with the Empire. The Empire tries to leave the Hutts alone. It's generally more profitable to leave them alone.
Sort of like a neutral area.
Kind of. But the Imperial war machine maintains garrisons and bases on Hutt worlds at the pleasure of the Hutt, cartels. The Hutts allow this in return for protection generally. Like, hey, drop a Star Destroyer off at this planet for us, kind of stuff. So like it's a semi-symbiotic relationship that they have.
Okay.
The Hutts make sure that the Imperial knows that they're outgunned. And generally, Imperials who work in Hutt space are tremendous bastards. More so than usual. Because as long as they don't hurt the Hutt's profits, they don't really have to follow any rules.
Mm.
It's really not uncommon for really bad things to happen when Imperials are around, if they're in the mood.
So that's really what she's mentally preparing herself is that
Like, oh
these
my
guys are
god.
going to be assholes probably, and
Yeah,
I
and
need to
you
be
you get
cool.
Imperial like maintenance personnel and Imperial, you know, functionaries. These are stormtroopers. You like the party stops when stormtroopers show up. Like people get real interested in their fingernails and go and hide and like, oh no, we're not watching what's going on over here.
Right.
People clear out. And in fact, you see the basically the vehicle that the stormtroopers came in has projected some kind of force around it that has utterly cleared the street. Like there's no one outside. There's no cars driving by. There is this thing parked on the sidewalk,
Yeah.
just there. And like people are like, "Oh, well, we're not going to breakfast today."
This station is big enough to have cars and vehicles.
Oh, this station is catac uh, colossal. That's the word
Okay,
I'm looking
no, cataclysm and catastrophic like is a valid way to describe the size of something. I think.
How size works is a little weird. We can get into it a little later, but right now, like a person is a silhouette one is how they describe size,
Okay.
and size is extremely abstract. Silhouettes range from 0 to 10. The Death Star is 10.
Okay.
This station is an 8.
Oh.
Just to give you an idea.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's gibignous. It's
Star
it's
Destroyers basically
large,
dock with
yeah.
this thing.
They could feasibly dock with this station. It might be a little weird and they would kind of take up a whole lot of room, but they couldn't like enter the station.
Mm-hmm.
They could dock to the outside of it.
Yeah.
Anything smaller than a Star Destroyer can enter the station. It's a big station.
Okay.
So there are 3 stormtroopers and a stormtrooper officer in your diner.
Right. So she walks over with the 4 pads and she sets them down in front of the people, and she says, "Welcome to Speedy Schlorgel's Hutt Sustenance Shack."
You're gonna have to speak up, and it's the officer, and he's just like, "Come on, speak up, please."
And she does her best. She does her best. She raises it up like
as much as possible,
like 5 decibels is about.
Okay.
Like but it's like her thing is broken, so she can't.
What
She's
I would
like, "Welcome to Speedy Schlorgel."
give me a oh no, this wouldn't. Yeah, this would be a post. Give me a charm test.
Okay.
This is an opposed test, and it's based off of presence, I believe.
I've got 2 greens.
Mm-hmm.
So what do I need to? Is there anything else I'm doing? Just 2 greens?
You are gonna go, since your voice modulator is broken, roll a black too, please.
Fuck. All right.
Yeah.
So it's 2 greens and a black.
Yep.
Hey, so that's 2 successes and a threat.
Okay, 2 successes is more than he made. He only got 4 advantages. So like
Okay.
he's like, okay, and now I can hear you. You're a little quiet, you know. And he really kind of grossly like puts his arm like over your shoulder, just like limply. He doesn't grab you. He just kind of like rests it there in a very overly familiar way. So you like your face is just inches from his. You're really quiet, you know? You're just really quiet.
My voice modulator's broken.
Oh, you're Xeno, or you're an alien. You're not a human. Okay. That's nice. I'm gonna have to wash my clothes, but that's okay. What are you, are you taking our orders now?
Would you like to hear about our specials?
You know what? I wouldn't. I really wouldn't. Why don't you wander off and we will call you back when we are ready. How about that?
And she just nods. She doesn't respond vocally.
Thanks so much.
And she-
Give me medicine. Actually, give me a perception test. This is going to be a 3 difficulty perception test.
3 purples.
Mhm.
All right, that's 2 greens and 3 purples. Right? Hey, that's horrible. Well, so yeah, it's 1 threat.
1 threat, that's still marginal, but you take a strain because you notice he's on something.
Okay.
He's on some sort of mind-altering substance.
All right.
You could roll a medicine check to try and figure out what it is, because
Yeah,
it's
I think I
not
am.
totally uncommon. But
I think I
remember,
am going
every time, like, you're spending moments in proximity to him by doing this.
No, I think she leaves.
Okay, fair.
I think she does leave because if it means I have to stay close to him, she's grossed out
Yeah.
already. She doesn't want to stay anywhere near right now. She thinks about maybe checking him out when she brings food, or like she'll try to minimize the contact. So yeah, she continues to walk away.
So they continue to talk and basically don't order for a very long time. They're talking. I mean, they're here for almost 30 minutes of just nothing and just shooting the breeze with each other before the first order comes in. And it's like an aggravatingly large amount of food for 4 people. It's like they each ordered like 3 or 4 things off the menu, or just like like the most annoying things for you to have to make in the back, and a lot of it. So your board goes from blank to just like a ticker tape, just fills up.
Wait, so they can order from the tablets? I thought I had to take.
Oh,
the
you're
order.
right. You do have to take their order. So 30 minutes go by, and I apologize.
No problem.
I got ahead of myself.
No worries.
So you take their order, and it's basically like, yeah, why don't you make sure that et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, just really asshole customers trying to make your job difficult, and like asking you questions to which they already know the answer just because they want to hear you talk and whisper because it's hilarious to them. And actually, I want you to roll a cool test because they're trying to get under your skin.
Right.
There is a skill called cool.
Yeah,
That's
is.
Yeah,
neat.
there's a skill called cool, coercion, vigilance, negotiation, charm.
All right. So
Discipline,
I don't
that's the
do
other one.
anything. Do I do anything else? Just the 2 greens, or
This is going to be opposed because they're trying to dick
rattle
about
my cage?
Yeah, actually, I apologize. You're going to roll discipline, not cool, because they're coercing.
Same thing. All right. So it's just 2 greens.
Okay.
I got 2 successes and 2 advantage.
Okay, so they got the exact same result. 2 successes and 2 advantages. However, in the event of a tie between an NPC and a player, the player always wins.
Excellent.
So they are really, really being offensive and just really like, can you speak up? We can't hear you. Can you talk a little louder? Just being general assholes.
Yeah.
They're really, really pushing your buttons. But you've worked here long enough that you're basically a pro at just putting up with people's bullshit.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you take their orders, and like Cookie, your board just goes nuts. It just fills up.
Now,
And every single order has like a modification or a substitution or a very specific cooking requirement.
Am I able to do a medicine check before I leave the table?
You are. Because you have to spend an extended amount of time in proximity. I'll let the medicine check happen.
All right, so that's 2 greens and a yellow. Oh, the yellow gave me nothing.
I'm sorry, this would be a 1 purple.
Okay.
So just go ahead and keep your results and add the purple in.
I get 2 advantage then.
Okay, 2 advantages still in the. It says, how are you spending your advantages?
Um. Now I can give Cookie a. I can give one of them to Cookie, right? Or
You
how does
could,
the
yes.
advantages work again?
Yeah, you can spend 1 advantage to give a blue to Cookie.
I'm gonna give one blue to Cookie.
Okay.
Oh, it's 2 if we give it to ourselves.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And
Very
then
cool.
what can I do with the other advantage?
You can recover strain.
That's what I'm gonna do.
Okay, I was gonna say notice a single important point.
Oh, that's actually yeah. I think I'm gonna do that instead.
Okay, so not only do you realize that he's on some sort of stem or upper, like or some sort of spice, something that's um, something that's an adjutant to his, you know, mentality. You know exactly what it is, and it is a. I don't have a name for it, but it's essentially the equivalent of a um, amphetamine.
Okay.
So he's on amphetamines, at least some dosage, and it is easy enough that you like can tell pretty much just by looking at him, the way his eyes twitch, or his hand, like his constant like drumming of his thumb on the table, or like how he moves, or and he actually he goes, what you looking at? What's up? What do you want? What? Come on, come on! He snaps at you.
She doesn't. She doesn't respond
Okay, then
to it.
and he just go
Yeah,
away.
all right. She
Get
just
out. Go.
She just leaves.
Okay, so Cookie, you have kind of like, oh Jesus, there's a lot going on. You've already got the razor peed.
They
One
ordered a
of
razor
the-
peat omelet?
They ordered a razor peed omelet,
Excellent.
but you notice that it's all out at the same time.
Hmm. All right.
So, um, here's how this is going to work. I need a survival test.
Okay.
The you only have 1 survival.
Yeah.
Right. So here's what you can do. You can hope to God that you can roll enough successes on 1 die to counter all of the purples that I'm going to make you roll.
Well, I have 1 cunning and 1 survival, which means I only get a yellow, but I get that blue.
It's true, you do. You can spend a light and increase your pool. So you could add
Go
a
ahead.
yellow, a green, and a blue versus the dice that I'm going to make you roll.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to.
Okay.
I think that's our last.
No,
Light
no.
side or-
Remember, because
no.
every time you spend and I spend, it goes back. So we
Okay, so
flipped
we're-
the same point over and over and over.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Because I spent a dark to make them walk in, so you had an extra light, and now you've spent a light. So it's back
Oh.
to 3 and 2.
Didn't know you spend the dark for that. I thought that was just part of the
Yeah,
story
no, that
you
was a-
already set up.
That was a big deal.
Okay.
Making 3 Imperial Stormtroopers and like 3 Imperial Stormtroopers and a Stormtrooper officer walk into a diner
Yeah.
was a dark spend.
Oh boy. And how many purples
Yeah.
am I rolling?
3.
3.
It's a 3 positive dice, 3 negative dice kind of day right now.
And there's no way for me to re-roll a die?
No, there isn't.
Okay.
What is your exact result?
A failure and 2 threat.
So, essentially how this is going to work is not only do you mess up the orders, they take forever.
Wonderful.
So it's
yeah.
like 45 minutes after they order. And then, they're just talking. It's like they don't even notice. 45 minutes after they order that their food is ready and it's all shit.
Is there any way for me to spice it up so that even though they eat it and it's garbage, they're not gonna care.
I no, I don't think that there is. You do have one perfectly made razor peat omelet, though.
That's true.
You have one.
Mm-hmm. Um, just wishing I had the razor peats in my torso still. But that I would require Cookie's ability to come out of the kitchen, which the track doesn't leave the kitchen, does it?
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Well, okay, it leaves the kitchen such that you could like hand off the order
Yeah,
to Cicatrix, and
Yeah.
that is the distance that you can go.
yeah. No, that's okay. So this is terrible and everything
This
sucks.
is bad. This is a not good.
This is a not good. Yeah. So the yellow die actually gave me 2 successes, and the green and blue basically just zeroed out on me
They,
completely.
they failed you. They failed you aggressively.
Yeah. Man, how am I gonna? To be perfectly honest, Cookie made the food, and it's there, it's ready. There's no way
And
to
if
fix
you
it.
don't deliver this is like 10 infractions.
They're all. He just.
And your manager hasn't seen this yet. He has no idea what's going on. But you have food here that you could plate. It's awful food and it's shittily made and you did a bad job, but you could plate it.
doing it anyway. Plating it anyway.
All right, and
Yeah.
Cookie delivers to Cicatrix a
And he's gonna garnish it in just such a way that it looks like it's intentional. Like
Okay.
this is
Yeah,
supposed to look like this. Welcome to Speedy Sloros. What do you
Okay.
expect?
fuck you no.
It's a Hutt restaurant.
Yeah, for real. A Cookie presents to you, Cicatrix, just a cornucopia of suck. Just like, what the hell? And then one perfectly made razor peat omelet. And that, like it stands in juxtaposition to everything else. Like, really, really ass cooking right here in like this sector. Razor peat omelet looks fine. Could be consumed. It even has like the right like additions to it. That one is fine. But everything else is ass, and you have to go deliver it to 4 Imperial stormtroopers, essentially.
She grabs the tray or whatever, and she says, "Maybe my next life will be better." And she takes it out.
It's very optimistic.
She always looks on the bright side.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she takes it out and she puts it down on the thing and then starts putting the plates in front of the proper people.
Okay.
And she just doesn't say anything. She's just putting it out.
And conversation when you arrive has stopped.
Yeah.
And you set the plates down, and they look at the plates, and then they look at each other. And then there's this like unspoken, like kind of like fuck it, that goes between them, and they begin to eat.
Okay. Success.
And they kind of they wave you away again.
And I take off. I mean, like not
Yeah,
like
oh,
rudely,
shit. Yeah.
not rudely, but I leave expediently.
They continue their meal, and like it's basically like sitting there like, when is this bomb going to go off? When is the problem going to occur? And like 10 minutes goes by, and then finally the officer kind of like leans out of his booth and goes, "Hey, sweetheart, can you come here real quick?" And he does the finger beckon.
She will go over to the table.
So
help you?
and he goes, he's like kind of doing this whole deal, and like his fingers
Oh
are.
God.
He goes, wow. I'm disappointed. This is terrible. Everything you set in front of us, awful. I'm disappointed in you, but I'm impressed with how bad this is. And I really, I feel insulted, and I feel like you all did this on purpose. Um, not happy, and like, make a perception test. This is going to be a 2 difficulty perception test.
Shit. All right. All right. So I got. I end up with 2 advantage.
Okay, that's enough. How would you like to spend your advantages? Firstly,
I'm gonna reduce 1 strain.
you can actually do that as many times as you have advantage. So you
Okay.
could spend 2 to get 2 strain back, if you wanted. It's up to you.
Yeah, I think because I have 3, so let's do that. So
Okay,
I'm down
cool.
to 1 strain now.
Cool. You notice that the tone at the table has changed. Like, the stormtroopers, who I will remind you are like hardened combat individuals. Like, I mean, you don't get to be a stormtrooper just for signing up, right? They have become they've done the whole kind of subtle lean away from the officer thing.
I see.
They think something bad is gonna happen. And he goes, man. Oh, I'm gonna have to talk to your manager. I need you to go get him right now, and just don't show your face to me again. Bring me your manager.
She doesn't even say anything. She walks away.
Okay, and you see, as like out of the corner of your eye, as like the stormtroopers kind of relax a little bit. They're like exchanging quiet glances with each other. Like, I think we just dodged a bullet. And what do?
I go and get the manager. I don't want to deal with this.
Okay,
I don't
fair enough.
care. I'm still alive.
You are definitely still alive.
Yeah. So she goes back and she gets she taps. She just
Clack, clack, clack.
tick, tick,
And he
tick.
goes, you hear like a scrabbling on the inside, and then silence, and then yes.
There's an Imperial officer that wants to talk to you.
And he is at the door, like, what? Like, door open, like face out, like, what?
There's an Imperial officer and 3 troopers, and they don't like their meal.
And he goes as white as a Devorian can get in terms of like, oh shit. He seems to have the same response to this that you do. Like, where it's like, well, okay. And he goes out to them, and essentially you are left to your own devices in the front of the house behind the counter while your manager talks to an extremely annoyed, like, amphetamine driven stormtrooper officer. And if you would like, I'll let you roll a perception to hear what's going on.
Oh yeah, she wants to know.
Okay, all right. They're not being loud, and they're kind of on the other side of the restaurant, so I think a 3 difficulty perception.
All right. Oh, that's shit. So I end up with 1 advantage. So I got 3 fails and 2 successes. Does that count as 1 fail?
Yes.
So it's 1 fail and 1 advantage
Okay.
because I had a threat and another.
You can spend the advantage as you see fit.
Um,
One of those things that you can spend it on is notice a single important point.
yeah, I think I'm gonna try and do that.
Okay.
Is a conversation an important point?
No, you failed. Don't you dare. Don't you, sir. Sir, I will spend all of my dark points on you. Essentially, I'm trying to decide what the important point would be that you would notice. And I think I know what it is. So as you're like trying to pay attention to this, but look like you're not paying attention, you see like the stormtrooper's officer has basically got his uh, hand over his face and is just shaking his head, and like your boss is like pleading with him, like, just no, please calm down, and like everything, and like you basically can guess what he's getting at, like, meals on me, we'll make it all again, etc., etc., etc. And the stormtrooper officer just starts to laugh. He's just like, just chuckling, just like, just what the what the fuck is this, that kind of thing. And then he takes out his gun and he shoots your boss twice in the chest. Just it is loud, like it fills the front of the house with sound. Cookie even hears this, and your boss stumbles back and collapses dead. And the officer is just kind of like holding the gun like this and just laughing his ass off. And the stormtroopers are like looking at each other like, like, not again, the head shake. Like, this keeps fucking happening. Like, they're tired of it. Not like they're surprised that it happened, but that they're like, come on. We wanted one breakfast, man. And he's like, did you see how he like freaked out and twitched and fell? It was great, wasn't it? It was a good time. And he, like, the officer like looks at him and is like, I guess we're gonna have to clean house, boys. And that is where we're leaving off.
God.
Yay!
I've got brass knuckles.
You do.
Versus.
I
Stormtroopers.
don't have a gun.
You currently do not have a gun.
No, my gun is in my sleeping quarters because I'm not supposed to have it.
You are not
So
supposed to have it.
So I don't carry it with me.
Also, it's like a Desert Eagle hand
it's
cannon.
big.
It's
Yeah, it's kind
enormous.
it's kind of big.
All right, let's take a quick little break, and then we can
Okay.
come back for table talk, which I'm sure will be lots to talk about. Probably not at all, but we're going to do it anyway.
All right, we'll be right back.
Bye, everybody, for a few minutes.
Hello, we're back.
Hello, we're back.
Hello.
Yay! Yay! So, what do y'all think of the system in general? Firstly,
I like this system in general. It's like I said earlier, it lends itself well to shenanigans, and I like the whole cancellation process.
mm,
The math system is not really math. It's just like this negates that, and this is how much is left.
yeah, it's like divining, right? It's like
It's
throwing
casting
down.
runes.
It's bones in the bowl, and like, what do they mean?
Yeah.
And how does this address the story? Yeah.
Before we go any further, though, first I think we should thank Rush Dark Shadow
Yes,
for the bits.
We thank you for your
Yeah, thanks, man.
contribution
Yeah.
of beats or bytes. Would it be? Yeah, bits,
Bits.
bytes. I mean, I was trying to make it a Star Warsy kind of thing, but bits still works.
Yeah.
It still works.
Mhm.
Still works. Ross, what about you? What are your thoughts on this system?
I like it. I like it a lot. I kind of had a feeling that I would.
Mm-hmm.
And just playing confirmed it. I also like the dice system. I had read about it before when we first were looking at this.
Mhm.
And it didn't take me but like a few minutes to kind of realize how to
Mhm.
do it.
Right.
For the most part, like I still need to work on how to spend the points.
Right, and yeah,
think
that's
that's
an
hard.
unfortunate. Like, there's so many things that you can do, and
Yeah.
spend on, and they're sort of intentionally vague.
Mhm.
It's like, notice an important point, like, and that's kind of on me to be like, well, here's the important point, but you do get to notice it, that kind of thing.
Mhm. I like how the dice system lends itself to the narrative,
Mm,
in a very synergetic way.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I agree that, or rather, I really enjoy that this story is, instead of being dictated to the players, a lot of what the players are doing affects it, and so we have to have like a unified.
There has to be a dialogue going on
Yeah,
at all
it's a
times.
dialogue. Thank you
Yeah.
for that word. I don't know why I couldn't remember that. But like the craziness that can happen based on a roll that I didn't anticipate, like the Razorpedes coming out of the box.
That was good.
That would not have happened if Yvonne had not rolled 4 threats.
Is that really how many I rolled?
Yeah, you rolled 4 threats because
Oh, okay,
1
yeah,
was spent
threats.
on strain to you, and then 3 was Krim tearing the lid off the box.
Yes. Okay.
If you had rolled 1 less, the box would still have come off. If you had rolled 2 less, that wouldn't have happened at all. That event, that entire combat would have been a non-issue. Until
Wonderful.
you yourself open the box, and then we'll see
Right.
what happens. But still.
Can of peanuts.
Yeah.
But Razorpedes.
What do you think of the light and dark destiny point? The sort of flipping back and forth.
I really enjoy that as an item, and I think I know we want to continue playing this in the future, and I feel like I should work that into the overlay in that case.
Yeah, I think that would be very helpful because it can get wild about having to remember who's flipped what.
Yeah.
Right.
One thing that I find struggle with is that it's very easy for the DM to remember to spend these things, but it's a lot harder on behalf of the players because things are happening to them and they have to react. So it's like, do I spend the light now at this immediate point, or do I conserve it for something really bad?
Mm.
So it's kind of one of those really, it can lend itself to not spending because you're not sure, how to spend it or when to spend it, which is generally why it's good that we have so many floating around.
Or the situation where you would like to spend it, but how do you broach the subject with your teammates without seeming like I should be spending this because I have an idea?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, hey, I have a light idea or a light spend or something like that. Like,
Yeah.
oh, Destiny Point idea. Talk about it among the table. Choose whether or not to. I mean, really, so much of this game is built on dialogue.
Yeah.
Like, this system is built in to provide people, because you rolled a couple of advantages, better things, and you can choose in your dialogue with your other fellow players who gets them, or when they go, or like what the best choice is.
I feel like it's definitely more story centric the way it's built.
Oh, absolutely.
Uh,
I would definitely agree with that.
Yeah. Like combat isn't even really a concern. It's barely. It's almost an afterthought, but it's still a functional afterthought.
Yeah, it's a functional afterthought, and even the combat is narrative.
Mm-hmm.
Combat happens in abstracts in this system. The only concrete part of combat is damage. That's the only solid number. Everything else is advantages, disadvantages, narrative differences, things like that.
How is damage then calculated? Is that with the weapons that you have, or is it with your roll?
Every weapon has a base damage.
Okay.
If you get one success or a marginal success, you deal the base damage of your weapon.
Mm-hmm.
Every success thereafter increases that by 1. So, for instance, if Ross shot somebody with his pistol, let's say it was 7, but he got 3 successes.
Mm-hmm.
That's 7, 8, 9.
Okay, interesting.
And then he got like 3 or 4 advantages, and he spends them on a crit. That forces a roll on the crit table.
Gotcha.
Which is pretty neat, which we didn't get into because no one got crit yet. So segueing from system, what did you think of the scenario, the scenes that I presented you today?
I remember when we talked about this that we had decided that this would be a diner situation. We'd be diner employees, and I thought, this is, what could go wrong in a diner situation? The idea of razor peas is not something that occurred to me in any way, shape, or form.
If Star Wars, man, alien bug meal, like
outer space food.
Yeah, it's wild, isn't it? And
Yeah.
that was only that was like the first weirdest thing that I could have had you do. But like there were other weird things.
I thought this was going to be more of like a Denny's meets the Hutt situation where like Hutties families come in and you're like, here, have some crayons and a drawing pad, kid.
Right. And no, it's like rest stop, like greasy spoon Waffle House,
Yeah.
but worse.
Yeah, in the worst part of the worst neck of the galaxy.
Yeah. Hot Space is hardcore, man.
Oh man, I'm really liking this so far, and I like the fact that you story wise, it feels like you kind of basically took advantage of the situation as a first episode, and not having us. Since we're not familiar with the system, you took it easy on us and took advantage of it at the same time by just letting us go weird on the entire situation.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's what it really is. I mean, in terms of introducing a setting to players, this is a little complex because it's totally unlike anything else. This system is not replicated or like any other system in the RPG market.
Mm-hmm.
It isn't. So it's really, you got to be really careful bringing new players in, because if you just start pitching stuff at them, well, they've got a whole new system to learn. It's not conducive to enjoyment, to just like annihilate you with like challenges and complexities and things like that. And one of the reasons I really like it is because it can be as simple as